Looking good. Look at that fake six-pack, dude. RGB, thanks for taking 5 subs. Major, thanks for subbing. Jason, thanks for subbing.
Nice jacket, Mr. Mayor. It's,
love yours.
Familiar.
Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Are you insinuating I haven't changed? Is that what's happening?
No,
hello,
not
ma'am.
at all. No, I'm just complimenting your remarkable sense of style. Is all.
Thank you. His jacket's a little darker than mine. Pulls out shirt from pants. Man, I love this outfit, though, dude.
Hello.
At a necklace? Wait.
Hello, sir.
Oh, sorry, sir. I thought this was America. I'm looking for some action. I mean, what the hell is going on? What's going on around here?
dicks. Pulls out doubling. Maybe we get a shirt. Maybe we get a shirt, guys. Maybe we get a shirt. Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Hurry. No. Hides. Let's see here.
It's Vivek Ramaswamy. How can I help you? Oh, do you really?
No, not
Oh,
this
I'm
shirt.
actually taking note. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's too expensive, huh?
He's like a fucking T-Rex. He's like a raptor looking for me in Jurassic Park right now.
And the cars are too expensive. That's what I call maxflation.
Maxflation. Oh, shit. Still barefoot? Yeah, that's by choice.
We're working on getting it sorted and all that, so.
We are going to
Captain Turner, Captain Slacks.
Hello.
Have you arrested
Howdy.
your compatriot for threatening treason against the council last night?
There was no threat of treason.
Yeah, okay,
Have
you
you-
fucking lying piece of shit. My
Okay,
wife was
hold-
right there.
Can Max?
There
Can
you
you let me digest
Grain,
for a second, please?
Their compatriot said, hey, what if
they
we
already
voted...
told me what she. They
yeah,
already told me what
because
she said,
they
Max.
came to you and they were like, oh my God, I better tell the Chief Justice who's
See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about?
What do you
Max,
mean, see what I'm
Max,
talking about? You
You're
are
acting like a
both
child, sir, with all due
jokes.
respect.
Okay,
You're jokes.
both of you, listen. Both of you.
Can we cut this out? Hey guys, I'm Vivek Ramaswamy here. I just saw that there was an altercation happening, and I just could be offering my services as an intermediary. You guys know Cucker Tarleson? He just had an interview in Russia, and I
Vivek,
learned a lot from
Vivek,
that. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's do a hypothetical. Okay, there are 3 police captains who essentially control a small military. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and a new form of government's being tested, right? And these 3 pricks are so concerned with getting power themselves that they even suggested they should overthrow the state-implemented body of government that is currently
Now you're lying.
overseeing the island.
Now you're lying.
That's not the case.
Oh, so
I've
what-
never said those words.
Vivek,
And if you truly
No,
Please
not
let him,
you,
let him finish.
not
Let
you,
Max finish.
not
Let
you.
Max finish, then you can have a rebuttal.
not,
Go ahead.
not
Max.
you guys, okay? But as cops, it's responsibility on you to do something when one of your compatriots says something like that.
Here because I'm not needed.
Mayor, we've told the whole entire PD if they feel there's probable cause to push the charge on Captain Ruth, they can file on the docket. That is something that's made very clear.
Why didn't you bat an eye when she said something like that? Why not?
Because she brought up a hypothetical question as far as what you're trying to say. She was trying to show our perspective as far as what you're trying to tell us as far as what's going on to at least give you a perspective on things.
Okay,
that's kinda
so
how I saw
I
it.
get it. The childlike hyperbole that was put upon me was so needed and so fucking far off the mark that it was disgusting. Suggesting that I am not held accountable, that I don't have people above me, while you guys do, you guys are bravely policing yourselves, is so
we
fucking
are held
stupid.
accountable. The state comes in and tells us, hey, you're doing a terrible job. Do better, right? That's always been the direction being given from the top.
You're doing a terrible job. Do better.
What
Thank you.
specifically do you think the
Absolutely.
police could
You could've-
improve in, Max?
You
Go
could have
ahead.
done that, Mayor Max, instead of shouting and screaming at us the whole entire time. I get your frustration. I get what you're saying. And we don't disagree with the problems you're having and you see in the PD. We're trying to work on them. We want to work with you.
Okay, well, watch how I work.
Can I ask
sounds
you a
like a
question?
I
What would
gotta
Max
go.
do-
Sorry.
Okay.
Why? How come they? So I don't mind sitting in. Actually, in fact, I prefer it.
Ladies, gentlemen,
Hi there.
nice seat, Beb.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I like your fit.
Mike, you mind sitting on my left here?
Sure.
Actually, you know what? No, I like you right there. I like you right there.
Alright. I'll stay.
So how is everybody?
Pretty good, yeah. Bit tired. I was up late last night, but I'm
Yeah.
here.
Me too. I was up so late, in fact, that I got to hear one of the three captains of the LSPD suggest treason.
That was fun.
Right on this floor, in this building.
It's crazy.
It's not crazy, it's alarming. Who's got more guns than the police department?
They're the most outfitted and equipped, you know, to what is it? Treason? Yeah. Commit treason.
That do be true.
Commissioner.
Can I ask what she said? Because I heard it from her side of things. She was like, I don't know if she downplayed it.
Haha,
or
it
just
was
said-
a joke. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. But also, the moment you began to question my power, I suggested as a joke, ha ha, is that we could vote to overthrow the power of the Council of Eight. Ha ha. Joke, though. Me, Captain Ruth, very funny comedian, very well-known comedian. Ha ha. Yeah, I'm suing her for fucking treason. I will be prosecuting that to the full extent of the law. The two other pricks next to her didn't say a fucking thing either.
Fair enough.
It's fucking... Oh my god, thank god we have guns. In case they fucking kick that door down. Thank god.
You think they're gonna go to that extreme?
Who the fuck knows, man? This bitch brazenly suggested treason in my office last night, man. When I was extending an olive branch, when I was telling them, hey, listen, let's work together moving forward, let me help you. And they're like, oh god, my power, my power. Pathetic. The instant oversight and accountability were suggested to these three captains, they fucking lost it.
I mean, who watches The Watchmen, right?
Nobody at the moment. Alex, do we have any food? Can I have some? Should I just do a run before we start?
The mayor of Bumville.
Hey, Max.
What up, Chief of Staff?
How many daps do you think she got for suggesting treason in front of the mayor?
I don't know. I do plan on asking. Hello?
I'm curious.
Mr. Thoroughbred, it is me, Mickey Sinclair, former longest standing mayor in all of Los Santos history, voted in by the highest margin, and we've yet to catch up since you've so wonderfully taken power. And well, I want to catch up with you about some things. I know you have a big meeting today, but I have some things I'd like to discuss with you.
Okay. Write me a text with all your thoughts.
Okay.
All right, love you. Shirt on until minutes ago. It's okay. God bless Gossip Gal for getting it right.
Alex, do we know anyone that can go and fetch any cigarettes by any chance?
Well, you think it's going to be a stressful meeting there, Michael?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, I could use some.
Business as
I might as well
usual.
take up
Yeah, I don't know. My smoking habits are getting out of hand.
Have you graduated to chain smoking yet?
Like 3-4 packs a day.
Fuck, man.
Jesus Christ! How are your lungs still functioning?
Well, hang on. Do you like to get the Euros imported that like are a little thinner, or are you smoking like the American cigs over there?
No, I'm just grabbing whatever.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Then yeah, maybe that is pretty bad.
No, I feel fine.
Well, you know, maybe you should have pillbox. Jesus, that's an old one. Maybe you should have the Los Santos
That
Medical
is.
Group
Yes.
check up on your lungs and whatnot to make sure you're actually fine at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Well, I had to check it again. Howdy, y'all.
Hi there, Cornwood.
Oh, Crane, can I sign in now? Okay. 1826.
Literally everyone we've talked to.
Yeah, reset your MDT if that doesn't work. Oh, you need to go sign in.
I do. I'll be right back. Wait, can you open the door? Is it locked?
Oh, I don't got keys.
I don't got keys.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Kanto. You're the best.
Have you?
So where is Ruth? Is she rustling up the militia to overthrow us or what? No?
Come again, Mayor? Were you talking about Ruth? Is what I heard?
Yeah, yeah. Where's Ruth? Is she rustling up a militia to overthrow our government?
She would never betray this country.
Okay. Tell them to wait outside. Nope, I want them to be here.
Did y'all know that fluffing is a sex act?
Yep, it's like what porn stars
Yeah.
get done between scenes.
Yeah, my pillow was all hard and lumpy last night, and I thought the internet could help out, and I googled fluffing, and I don't know what that was about. I just,
But Aaron, who?
Good name.
Well, she unlocked the door, so.
Yeah. Just want to be rating, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
I should be all set.
Yeah, looks like it. Thank you.
What is this, the fifth meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, with great joy and mirth in my heart do I announce the beginning of the fifth Council of Eight meeting. Today we have some special guests. We have Captain Leonardo Slacks and Captain Wyatt Turner, the LSPD. Captain Wyatt Turner is a 23 veteran of the police force and is currently extending his tour of duty into the island of chaos that is Los Santos. We have Leonardo Slacks, a young, bright, up-and-coming captain trying his best to make sense of this landscape. And we have Cletus Cornwood, who will be taking notes for me today, as he is part of my legal counsel. First and foremost, let's welcome our new Chief of Staff, Siobhan Thoroughbred, my wife.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. I just want to say that I'm really
Oh, we didn't practice this.
I'm excited to fulfill the role and will carry out the mayor's goals on a day-to-day basis, acting as an evangelist for the mayor's principles to the best of my ability. I believed in Max and what he's trying to do for Los Santos since the first moment I heard him speak back at the end of December at the debate, and I am humbled and grateful for this opportunity and look forward to working with you all collaboratively. And on the note, I just want to say I think some of us may have gotten off on the wrong foot, and I want to be clear that I have, always thought what is good for the city and the state. I don't care about personal gain. If I did, I would not have been a judge. I think Crane can attest to the fact that I don't really have an ego, and it's about what's best for the city. I will always put the best interest of the city first. You have my promise and my word.
Who slipped me moonshine?
Not me. Oh. When it was me. It was me. It was like a week ago or some shit.
No.
Oh, well, you've received additional moonshine.
Wait, there's some on the floor here right now.
Yeah, there are moonshine bottles on the floor. I did not want to pick it up and be in possession of it. But
Yeah, that would be illegal.
I did not pick it up, and somehow.
Oh,
I mean-
there's a
well,
bottle next to every chair right now, guys.
Yeah, that's what I noticed as well. I presume because of to set the tone for the meeting that we're about to be walking into here.
Interesting. Okay.
Would you like those confiscated?
Yeah, I don't want to get in
Alright.
trouble.
Yeah.
Go around and
Considering
grab
I'm
those here.
fucking sober, this is kind of an insult. Whoever did that shit.
I think it was Alex.
Oh, that's terrible.
Mr. Mayor, can you step to the side just a little bit? Can't pick this one up. You able to pick that one up?
Don't. He's gonna get your DNA. Sorry.
No, I got it.
Um,
Boom.
Appreciate
look
it.
at this one. Let's hear.
Yeah, I'll grab this one too as well.
That was good lawyering, though.
Thank you.
Fucking Jesus. All right. Does anyone have any legislation or ideas to propose today?
I got a couple things, but
I'll be honest. I think we should straight up jump into the hot topic issue while we have our
I was
guests
gonna
here.
agree with Malton.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Because I don't know if they want to sit here and listen to everything else we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, the poll. Oh, right. We wouldn't want to keep them away from patrol. Okay. I prepared a little speech because this is an important topic with quite a bit of facets to it. I urge you to listen to me. It's a bit lengthy, not too long. Just kind of reflecting on my experiences in the last week or so. Give me a moment. What's a good song for this? Everyone ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. The island is on fire, and after the verdict from Mr. K last night, even more gas has been poured on it. The resulting flames will be the perfect backdrop for this incomplete and incompetent police department. Their vision of the three pillars has failed. Their own police officers that I have taken the time to speak to personally, are too afraid of reprimand from their superiors to even adequately do their job. They fear reprimand from their superiors for speaking to me, the elected mayor, without permission. A majority of officers I have spoken to feel that they have been ill-equipped to prepare the next generation of police officers to bring order to this inherently chaotic place. They have had 2 months to flesh out even a semblance of a suitable chain of command. They have chosen instead to greedily bottleneck any semblance of power and responsibility while simultaneously, irresponsibly going MIA at some of the most pivotal moments of their development, leaving their subordinates to pick up the pieces without giving them the tools to do so. When I confronted these LSPD captains with myriad issues last night, I was met with an exceptionally defensive and utterly pathetic attempt at gaslighting. They assured me that they were working in earnest to produce, from the bottom up, a police department of integrity and accountability. The results of this combined effort have been clear to see. Just last night and many nights, as reported to me, the police response on the island has been near non-existent. I myself have gone down to MRPD last night to investigate and found both gates to their motor pool unlocked and wide open for just about anyone to waltz in. I reported on 311. The customer service-esque "thank you, we'll get right on that" I received was more akin to something a waiter might say if I were sending my food back. Fortunately for all three of these LSPD captains, one of their cadets was lingering about close to the gate for them. I was curious. I asked this cadet to let the chief of staff and I into the building so that I could see what the police presence was like for Shift 3 at MRPD. The halls were empty, eerily silent as the three of us walked through the maze-like hallways to find where the 4 blips identified by this officer might be lingering in MRPD. I wanted to see who they were and what they were doing. The island's on fire, so certainly these individuals were doing something to put that fire out. After 5 minutes of wandering, the cadet led us all the way to the top floor of MRPD, an eerie, liminal space. He pushed open the double doors and I briefly caught a glimpse of all 3 LSPD captains huddled in a circle. I ushered the cadet in question along and insisted that we be shown out. I suspected that they might get in trouble for showing the chief of staff and I around the building, considering the volatile conversation I'd had with the 3 captains earlier that night. The cadet showed us out of the building, with none of the captains even peeking their head out of the storage closet they were meeting in to see who might be wandering around their headquarters. On the way out, I asked the cadet, What's your general feel for policing on the island these days? Very hesitantly, as though he knew he'd be punished for admitting it, he said, "Oh, well, I don't know. It's just hard to get out there knowing I might get in trouble for trying to do my job." With the 3 pillars of the LSPD working so desperately to ensure that training comes first and foremost prior to actually establishing a palpable chain of command, why is it that this random cadet would utter such a thing to me? The environment fostered by these 3 LSPD captains is poisonous. It has become increasingly clear to me that they have no true intention of fleshing out their chain of command in any meaningful or speedy manner, given that one Captain Turner claimed it would take 3 additional months to have anything remotely resembling such when I asked them last night.
I'm all for America. Get out of here now.
Yep, all right.
We're gonna take a little pause.
You know, we pay our taxes. Why can't we witness this?
Leave, Bobby.
Of course, it's Vivek.
Thank you, Crane.
Chief Justice, if you want to talk to him, I can talk to him outside too as well.
They don't speak English.
Once again, Captain Wyatt Turner claimed to me after inquiry last night that it would take 3 additional months to have anything remotely resembling a chain of command. They did, however, take the time to write out a very nice little document that, in the very first paragraph, outlines the very simple fact that they themselves believe that they are the only ones possibly qualified to become chief of police, or in this case, commissioner. I was sent this by Leonardo Slacks after I allowed him to see what I'd been working on in the realm of this act. Why is this the first thing I was shown after it became clear to Captain Leonardo Slacks that I was keen on investigating why it has taken so long to have an actual cohesive police force on this island? Why is it that when I suggested the process by which they handled discipline points, the reaction was to be defensive or to feign ignorance on just how ridiculous it was that they were the only ones who can issue these points and that they are the final decision on whether or not a police officer gets to keep their job? Okay, pausing.
Did your parents not hug you enough? Why the fuck do you need so much attention that you feel the need to scream in the hallway when people are having a meeting? Fuck off, you incompetent asshole.
I love when Crane gets angry.
Same.
That
On that we can
Same.
agree. Why have we gone several nights without any meaningful police presence on the island? How many shifts have been relegated to ghost towns courtesy of this flagrant incompetence and utterly pathetic attempt at power consolidation? Why was I first on scene after a man was beaten and kidnapped from City Hall 2 nights ago? Why is it that every time I hold a town hall, the people I represent beg me to give them firearms so that they can defend themselves attempting to do honest, legal work in Los Santos? Why do they tell me that their 311s and 911s go unanswered most of the time? Why is it taking so long for you two to do something I know could be done in half the time by actual qualified professionals? I've had enough of your floundering, and so have the people of Los Santos. When I made this known to the captains last night, Captain Roos suggested voting by the LSPD to seize power from the Council of 8 and to effectively usurp the responsibility bestowed upon us by the state. The responsibility that half of the population of Los Santos placed in my hands. So pressed was she by the prospect of having any amount of oversight whatsoever, treason was the first thing that she suggested. Right in my presence, in my office, in this building, in front of my wife and I. And most importantly, in front of 2 other LSPD captains who did not so much as lift a single finger or make a single peep when she said those words.
What words did she say?
Captains, you remember?
Yeah, I can read it for you, out
Please.
loud. I mean, there's a
Please.
PD announcement about this.
Yeah, there should be. I'm sure your subordinates want to know why you didn't do shit about it.
Because I didn't believe treason happened, Mayor, that's why.
Yeah, of course
Captain
not.
Ruth proposed a hypothetical question that if the city council can just vote and say they're above the PD, can the captain just vote and say they're above the city council? That was the question that was proposed.
She said and I quote, "What if we just vote to take power from the council?" In response to my inquiry about their accountability and their responsibility to this island.
That sounds like she's posing a hypothetical.
First of all, Cantor, it's called
compare?
First of all, it was so far off base that even if that's what she was trying to do, her lack of understanding about how basic government functions in our island is disgusting. She suggesting for a moment that that is the same thing as the Council of Eight is ridiculous, because all of us have checks and balances. All of you can vote to impeach me. All of you, some of you are not elected officials. You can be fired and replaced. Okay? What sort of anything stands for them in that same capacity? And once again, it's hyperbole, not hypotheticals.
So she said this out loud?
Oh, yeah.
I was there. She definitely said that. She also said the PD was their own branch of government. So that, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, thank God we're all protected by the third part of the Bill of Human Privilege, freedom of speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't even get me started on you, Dakota. Yeah, I'm glad that your captains.
Not when it conflicts with the penal
I'm
code.
glad that your
No,
captains
go for
are.
it.
I'm
We got
glad.
you here.
I'm glad that your captains are here, Dakota, because every single time I've tried to breach any sort of actual subject for you from the PD, you've said, "Oh, well, I don't know if I could speak on that. I don't know if I could speak on the behalf of the captains." What's your fucking job at that point? What are you here to accomplish other than to push the agenda that these motherfuckers are trying to have you push?
You mean the PD agenda?
The captain agenda. If this was the PD agenda, you would have mentioned a single time the plight that you and your fellow officers are currently experiencing.
What is our plight, Mayor? Yeah, what is our plight, Mr. Mayor, that you know so much
The
about?
captain's agenda, when in reality it's the PD agenda. Go ahead, Dakota. Tell them exactly what's going on.
Well, I want to hear what the biggest issues facing the PD are from you, Mr. Mayor, since you've talked
Can we
to so many
pause for a
people.
second? I just want to one thing at a time, because we've been through so many topics, my head's spinning.
Okay, let me finish my speech. I've only got a couple paragraphs left, and actually, it's pretty appropriate to what just happened. The combative and disrespectful tittering from Captain Turner and Captain Ruth, as well as the willful and weaponized ignorance demonstrated by Captain Leonardo Slacks last night, was both disheartening and eye-opening. Instead of attempting to justify in any palpable means why it has taken them so long to put out more than 2 police officers every night on the street, or why it has taken 2 months to convince themselves that they are able to trust men and women who put their lives on the line and to sacrifice their time and effort to train this next generation of police officers enough to give them the ability to push a warrant without captain approval, they were defensive. They asked me, "Well, what would you do?" And when I attempted to explain as much, they were convinced that their way, which has been demonstrably proven to be wrong, has failed. And so any ideas I or others had to the contrary must surely also be wrong. They were more concerned with attempting to poke holes in any flag-bearing olive branch I had to extend in some sad bid to justify their presently sloth-like police department. They were more concerned with having to answer to me or to anybody. They're not interested in cooperating with the mayor's office or the council unless it benefits them wholly and utterly. The LSPD claims to care about the people of Los Santos, about us, about whoever. Why is it then, when faced with the smallest bit of scrutiny from its mayor, an official whom represents the majority of the people of Los Santos in their best interest, they cannot fathom that they might have been in the wrong in their methods, or that they could use a little bit of help? End.
Okay. So, I want to address a couple things because I think historically I've tried to serve as a mediator in this jurisdiction, and I will try to do so today. First off, I think there's a general confusion, especially based on what the mayor here has relayed from what Ruth said. The mayor, yes, is the elected will of the people. And as such, he represents the will of the state. However, much like myself and Miss Hawthorne and many others in this room, namely pretty much everyone on the council, that you know, authority or will of the people is not limitless. The idea that the legislation discussed focuses on is more so the authority of the mayor to investigate what is going on in the jurisdiction that he is elected to oversee, and to relay said information to the appropriate parties and do as he sees fit based on authorization therefrom. This is not a authoritarian regime where he is going to forcibly take over the PD,
certainly not,
fire people, and do a bunch of crazy shit.
Firing people is the furthest thing on my mind right now. Even you fucks.
And I can, Mr. Mayor, please just let me get
Mayor, with all due respect, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and take disrespect. I'll walk out of here.
Everybody, cool it down. Okay. So, as I discussed with you gentlemen out in the hallway, this is not something that is of his own creation, spawned from nothingness. This council that I helped to design is meant to establish the will of the people. Oftentimes, I found myself, 5-6 years ago, overwhelmed trying to cater to everyone's needs from every walk of life. And part of the reason for this council existing is that I felt it were more appropriate for different walks of life to be represented through different conduits, such as the healthcare field, the law enforcement field, the legal field, and then the citizenry, whether that be the deputy mayor, the mayor, whatever. Now, the treasurer and I, and in some ways the head of the Bar Association, are meant to be sort of the anchor by which this council operates. Now, when I look at things, you need to trust me, Slacks, Turner, everyone, that I'm doing so in the best interest of this state. I helped Max conceive of many of the ideas in this document. This is not something that's coming out of left field. We, as a council, have been approached by many people from PD, both on our own, as groups, randomly. Hell, I've been sitting in the lobby of MRPD and I've had people say shit to me about how PD's going. Now, this doesn't mean that I believe them 1000%, nor do I think Max does. Part of the conversation we had is that the first step of any of this, and potentially even the penultimate step, will solely be to assemble an investigative panel, which, spoiler alert, my picks were Willie Glory, a former police lieutenant, now judge, and Lance Malton, a former police high command member and now head of the Bar Association, who is beyond fucking, reproach. And to have them, both experienced members of PD, known commodities, okay, to many of your more experienced officers, to go in there and see what's going on. Because I don't trust random people bitching to me.
Same.
And Max doesn't either. So look, I'm going to not apologize for another grown man and his proclivities. You may notice that I actually have shoes on, okay? I'm not wearing skinny jeans with my fucking, pinky toes out in a city council meeting, but I'm not the mayor, am I? I'm the Chief Justice. And I'm not going to apologize for the mayor or explain what he does. What I will tell you is that I will vouch for his integrity in this issue.
Oh, fuck!
Heard that he is only trying to do what's...
Oh, fuck!
Do I agree with his exact methodology? No. I do not think that fire and brimstone preaching from the pulpit is a good way to accomplish and engender people to your cause. But
they need that. The cops need that. They wouldn't have listened to this otherwise.
From the comments that he has relayed, it doesn't seem like everyone on your side necessarily handled themselves perfectly either. Hypotheticals or not, that's kind of a dumb fucking statement to make. Because perfectly honestly, we all answer to the state. We all answer to a government higher than us. And to suggest somehow that we're just in here willy-nilly making shit up as we go is fucking ridiculous, and it betrays all the effort and investment that I've put into fucking creating this whole fucking council to suggest that we're just up here giving ourselves our power we deem necessary. You slacks and you turn know as well as anyone that if one day the federal government or the state above us wakes up and decides Alan Crane's a piece of shit and he's gone, I'm gone. Okay,
Right.
so there's no fucking weird discussion about who's the ultimate power, who's taking power from who. The end result is we're all trying to do our fucking job. Sorry, I'm fire and brimstone.
No,
Take it down a bit.
I love hearing you speak. Please continue.
So all I'm trying to say is, I'm glad Max got his shit out of his system. I hope in the future he can, visit a men's warehouse and get some slip-ons at least.
We'll see.
It's on my to-do list.
I believe that it is perfectly reasonable, and I'll tell you this, especially given the fact that Etta over here, by the way, the treasurer, who I trust completely, is in my ear every other day advocating for you two to give you more money and more budgetary expenditures and more cars and more toys and more things that you need to do your jobs better. And those things go hand in hand with what Max wants, which I'm guessing is not to be bitched at by every cop that sees him walk into MRPD about the squabbles that are going on internally with how things are functioning.
Amen.
So I think we can all work together here, because guess what? If the investigative body decides that, hey, maybe this tiny thing could be improved, or maybe this could be looked at, or maybe this could be worked on, maybe those could be incentives that could allow us to create budgetary incentives and optimization incentives for the PD that, could grant you the fucking car trucks and the turbos for your cars and the upgrades and, FTO incentives and all these things. But right now, if we're going to sit here and have a pissing match, then nobody gets anything. And I think that's fucking dumb.
That's exactly my thought process, right?
Okay.
I want to work with people, but respect goes a long way.
So let me just open up the legislation. Let's not talk about what we've heard. Let's not talk about how some person interpreted this.
Can we get a copy of the current?
I have a feeling we're going to be updating it right now. So
I'm gonna lay out what I think is the core of this, okay? Because a lot of this, I'm gonna be honest with you, and you know this. Well, some people know this about me. I don't like a lot of the fluff in a lot of the legislation. I think a lot of it is just pontificating and grandstanding. To be honest, the core of this to me is the examples of the powers the mayor's office reserves. And by the way, it also bookends on both sides of this that the state has the ultimate authority here. State supremacy. Even says state supremacy. This document assures and reiterates as well state supremacy on matters of law to foreign departments within the state, acting as the ultimate arbiter of decision making. So, yes, the mayor's office is an agent of the state, just like the PD is, but you guys have a mutual, boss. He's not over you in such a way that he's like your direct boss and he's going to tell you exactly what to do. It's more so he's an emissary of the state investigating for the state and then acting as appropriately when authorized. So, for example, this says examples of powers: initiation of commissioner selection and definition of the role. The mayor or deputy mayor will collect names submitted by the LSPD in order to submit them to the state. He's literally asking to be a messenger. That's not a far-reaching ask, by the way. Second point, the formation of other law enforcement departments. As the need arises, coverage is important. Key point, as the need arises. It may not need right now. The investigation may result that the need may be emergent in the future, or there should be a plan created for a rollout that is set in stone or a timeline. It doesn't mean we're just going to pop up a fucking sheriff's office tomorrow. Third,
we might
directly refer any emergent personnel issues to the head of the Bar Association for Civilian Oversight Board. This is something I worked with Max on, because I came to him and I said, hey, we got this whole idea about investigating what's going on with PD and sending in this, investigative body to sort of get us the answers. But we already know how we want to handle personnel issues, and that's the Civilian Oversight Board. So we just worked that in. So they're in combo now. So the reason why we haven't pushed Civilian Oversight Board into legislation yet is because it should go as in tandem. The Civilian Oversight Board should be created so that as this investigative panel discovers issues that may be occurring, they can be referred directly to Malton, because guess what? Malton's on the panel. And then he can go ahead and assemble the Civilian Oversight Board, which the elections will run in the next week or so, assuming this legislation in some form gets passed. And it says it should be the mayor's office's goal to ensure that the law enforcement departments are given the tools to succeed. It says that every law enforcement officer is afforded the opportunity to succeed so long as they're passionate about their job and committed to active law enforcement. So there's been some contention about that one. I'm going to not speak for Max, but instead I'll pose a question as a way to not make this confrontational.
Sure.
Max, the cynical worry when reading this sentence could mean that you are stating that you will completely throw out any disciplinary action, wrongdoing, violation of SOPs, and simply say, well, if you got a good attitude and you're passionate about being a cop, then you should be a cop still. Is that accurate, Max?
No. And let me be clear. It was never going to be my intention to go in and be like, hey, these discipline points, don't know about that. Don't know about this indefinite suspension. He's hired again, blah, blah, blah. I literally won't be doing that. It's more about establishing the chain of command so that you guys are not judge, jury, and executioner.
And how would you fix that with an active chain of command? What would you do in a way to where you'd allow something like that to flourish?
What I would do is I would make sure you had a boss, first and foremost, a commissioner, chief of police, anyone that could look at your handed out discipline points and think, hey, maybe these guys shouldn't be the ones to review whether or not their decision to hand out discipline points was correct or not. Accountability.
What if the chief of police is the one issuing that points and signing off on it, and you don't agree with it? What happens then?
Should not be doing that.
Yeah, he just doesn't do it, Leonardo.
So one thing I've talked to Max about, sorry, Max, in terms of the DOJ, we had a long conversation about DOJ training and our structure. And one of the things that I imparted to him was that you don't see me taking a lot of basic cases anymore, right? I'm not sitting here doing every single appeal, every single trial. The reason for that being is I have judges that I delegate to do these cases.
It's not like Coke. I'm trying to get the fucking
their judgment
clog
is
out of my nose.
questioned, mine is in reserve. So the same would function with a chief, for example. The chief's job, in my eyes, at least the way I understand police departments, I could be wrong, is not to go out with the rank and file every day and be like, hey, Jimmy, you shot that guy twice in the back, and then he dropped the knife, and you shot him a third time, Jimmy. That's 4 DAT points, because that was a use of force excessive. No, the chief's job should be at a macro level, taking care of the department, and then when decisions are made by the rank and file all the way up to him, your chain of command, the chief should be the ultimate say-so when someone needs an answer. So, for example, this Gregory Johnson guy has been yelling at anyone who will listen about how he was wrong. He made a fucking rap song. He's come to City Hall. He's screamed at Max, I'm sure. He's yelled at me. He's been all over everywhere. But right now, his recourse or his ultimate answer comes from the same people that made the decision in the first place. So effectively, as someone who's in his position, he's left with, okay, I can just try to keep convincing the people that already decided I should be fired, or I just kind of give up. And in my opinion, it's the same thing with justice system. Why the fuck would there be an appeal from one judge to another that are all the same rank, that all handle basic cases? The reason I've said we don't do that is because then you're just supplanting one person's opinion for another that are of equal merit. Or you're asking the judge to go back on their own decision. That's why we have a chief justice, so that someone can go, you know what, I think I was treated unfairly. And they get an opportunity to bring in front of somebody else. And if that doesn't work out, well, then they got their answer.
I'm just confused. What do people have an issue with when a boss or somebody else comes in and removes somebody for lying or integrity, false lying evidence?
No one slacks. No one is, well, let me rephrase this. The issue is not the substantive action that has occurred. The issue is that procedurally, the substantive action is being reviewed by the same people that made the action in the first place. It would be like if I did a court case and someone's only chance to appeal was to say, hey, Crane, you ruled on my court case. I'm appealing. I think you got it wrong. What do you think? Do you see how awkward and strange that is?
I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. You're saying the people that are firing these folks shouldn't be the folks also, reviewing this kind of punishment, because how are you supposed to get a true assessment of what's going on?
Well, how are you supposed to second guess yourself?
Right,
is the whole point. There should be someone disconnected, whether
which is why we propose
a commissioner. Correct.
Right?
We're on the same page there, which is why I'm saying I don't think anything here is novel or different. I just think y'all are having communication problems. Which, welcome to fucking Los Santos, everybody. I mean,
my attempt to communicate with them, Crane, last night was a treason joke and defensive tittering. That's what I had to deal with last night.
Well,
okay,
Mayor, did you put yourself in the mirror though while talking to us? Because we came in there and you shouted not once, not twice, but 3 times, and you kept raising your voice every single time. I mean, I try to talk to you. I try to be very calm. I get your frustration and some of the problems we agreed on. We agreed on retention. We agreed about burnouts. We agreed about coverage. We agreed about units.
We didn't agree about shit, Leonardo.
Yes, we did. But you're not willing to listen to us because you were so angry about the problem, and I get that. You're passionate about what you're doing.
No.
I'm telling you.
I explained to you the problems that I had witnessed in speaking to all these cops. You explained why you thought it was a problem and why it was happening, and you guys, when I suggested for a moment that I be there to potentially have professionals advise you guys on what you could be doing better, you got defensive. Okay, we didn't agree on shit last night.
Okay, can we? Okay,
we asked questions. What the
can we pause?
were.
Can we pause? Can we pause? Look, I hate to, be a broken record here, but I literally, the final thing I just said was, this is a communication issue. And now you two are sitting here across the table telling each other how the conversation occurred and saying you're wrong. And the other person saying, no, you're wrong. Hence communication issue.
Oh,
so
one of our jobs, okay, there's a difference between my job and their job, obviously, is that I was elected by people because I talked and listened to them. These fucks were picked by the state. One of us is better at listening
Max,
and talking to
how the
people.
hell are we meant to vote for this when you were going to oversee them, when you were unwilling to speak to them or even show them the basic decency of talking about
They don't
them as if
deserve
they have
decency,
jobs?
Cantor. They threatened treason in City Hall last night.
Okay, pause. Second point. They didn't threaten treason. Okay. What occurred was a shitty quip. Okay, I've dealt with treason, Max. I've dealt with people actually trying to overthrow the fucking state several times now, actually.
So what part of an LSPD captain making this quip, in quotes, in response to being subjected to even a semblance of responsibility and accountability is not treason? They have the guns, they have the cars, they have the weapons, they have everything.
It's immaturity and idiocy. And
It was unprofessional.
It's unprofessional, it was immature, and it was stupid. Okay, no one, Miss Treasure, no one is claiming that somehow there is an isolated sense of someone being professional and someone not being professional because one person is being called it. I'm simply trying to just get through this muck and mire and get to something productive, because right now we're still on the fucking he said, she said.
Okay, all right. Captain Turner, Captain Slacks, I apologize. Clearly, I did not understand that Brooke Ruth, world-renowned comedian, was just trying to make a joke about overthrowing the government. I look forward in this capacity to working with you guys. I'm always here. You can call me whenever you want.
Mayor, and I'll have Captain Ruth come down here and apologize for her behavior as well. It was unprofessional. I do agree with that.
Okay. Deal.
Thank you.
Ask a productive question here. I spitballed a lot of thoughts in there. I feel my most important ones were in bold. I have yet to get a clear-cut answer that I'm hoping the captains can give me, or Crane, or the mayor, because we asked this last week. I know what this bill is proposing. You know, I could see what it's going to potentially do, but if it's shot down What is our system currently? Does the PD just answer to the state? Is it are they meant to work hand in hand with the council via political consequences, shall we say? What is the current status quo when it comes to the government chain of command and the police department?
We answer to the same master at the end of the day in the state government or federal government, depending on how you interpret the way our jurisdiction works. What is key to understand here is that it is very clear, based on the setup of the city council of 8, that the funds that pay everyone's salaries in this room, looks around, yep, every single person in this room, from the head of the clerks to the captains over there, to every member on the council, and to Cletus Cornwood, who is a bar certified attorney drawing a paycheck from the government. All of our money comes from taxes we are paid directly from the state account. The city council is the arbiter of state funds. Hello, Madam Treasurer. Our job is to decide how to allocate those funds. Now, we have some guidance from above, from the state government, as has been seen previously, where there have been requests for things like EMS Life Flight and Air One and different things for PD, K9 units and motor units and all these things. And what I'm telling you right now is that everyone needs to work together, because guess what? If you guys need things and you need assistance from the council, which, by the way, you do, then it is in everyone's best interest to work together. And I assure you that this legislation is not without the ability to be repealed immediately. In fact, Max and I have already had conversations that this legislation is solely due to the fact that we are an emergent state. This legislation may not even exist in future mayoral terms. This legislation is right now, you guys are growing, we're growing, and everyone's trying to figure shit out. So to Malton's point, this is a collaborative effort in which the PD will allow, by way of
you said that last
faith,
night? Sure did. They weren't having it.
Mayor's office and the Council of 8 to do their jobs. Now, we're not going to sit here and pretend that we couldn't just pass this legislation, bitch and moan to the state, and say, let us do what we want, PDR, being obstructionists and blah, blah, blah. We could do that, but that's stupid. It serves no.
They were against it before they even talked to you?
We are trying to have productive conversations that we can agree on, so this can move forward positively and productively. Does that answer that, Lance?
Yes.
Okay.
I think going back to my point, I'm all for oversight within the police department. I'm all for checks and balances that adhere to, good police department that has the best interests of the city, right? Not the best interests of people in charge. I totally understand that. I'm all for it. The problem I have with it, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The problem I have with it is just making sure the people in position have good faith and making sure the PD does prosper and grow. And that's just my fear. That's all. Because absolute power can corrupt.
I assure you that if the mayor does anything untoward or acts
I'm getting
out of line,
impeached.
he will be fucking impeached. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
I
you've
told
noticed.
you that last night.
I don't know if you've noticed, Slacks, but do some basic math here, right? Miss Treasurer, Miss Healthcare Liaison, Mr. Head of the Bar, again beyond reproach, and Mr. PD Liaison and Mr. Chief Justice. How many people is that, Slacks?
5.
That's 5.
That's majority.
Okay, so just so we're clear, there are checks and balances here. The mayor cannot just fly off at the handle and do whatever the fuck he pleases. Also, there's an ultimate check, by the way, because the very legislation that he wrote refers to state supremacy, and we just got done discussing the fact that he has a boss just like any of us, even though he is the mayor.
Any reference to the state is for our higher-ups.
Well, it's the state in general. We are an agent of the state. The mayor is an agent of the state, but he has a boss just like everyone.
Literally what I said? Yep.
Yeah, okay. It's the same thing. If you say I work for the police department, I am the police.
We already
you could
said
be a
all
rank
this.
and file officer or a captain or the chief. You're still the police.
Now, Chief Justice, give me a copy of what you guys are talking about because I still have not seen it.
You have seen it.
No, I've seen the
We'd like to see
rough
the current
draft.
version.
Yeah, the current version.
Okay,
You
hold
see
on.
it?
I got. I'll
And
send you
then
guys. I'll send you
being
guys
made
a. I'll send you guys a picture. Hang on.
I appreciate that.
I can just. Well, why don't we just do this? Why don't I just create a report for them and they can just see it?
Can you put it into a high command report?
Yeah.
The next question I had in regards to this that I've broached to various parties, shall we say? This is the pill question, basically. As I understand it, I see the argument here. You know, we used to work under the Senate system that has
Under high command report.
That has morphed to like a quasi state and council of 8 system. I would like to hear everyone's thoughts as to why this should rest with the mayor's office potentially, as opposed to the council as a whole. Does this process get slowed down that much by the council defining what the commissioner role is, the council discussing this, or the council referring to the head of bar for personnel issues?
In my personal opinion, I don't think there's any benefit because the way I read this and the way I understand it, and again, well, Lance, you were there for part of that meeting as well.
Yes.
The way I read and understand this legislation is that for the most part, and forgive me, Mr. Mayor, this is not meant to be diminutive, just accurate.
Yep.
Most of this is the mayor being I guess I would call it like a clerk for the state.
Yep.
He's essentially gathering information, delivering information, gathering nominations.
Let's add more
delivering
bureaucracy.
nominations.
Yeah, we don't
And all of
need
this
that.
is delivered to someone above him for decision making in conjunction with himself. It is not something where he is just autonomous, and therefore I don't really know what value would be added by the council, including myself, by the way, being a part of that information gathering process. I think the council should be a part of forming
fucking true.
what this legislation should do and how it should function. But the actual act of carrying out the information gathering and the dissemination and all that, I don't see why there needs to be 8 people in a meeting when there could be 3. I don't, you know.
But it's pretty clear that. Well, actually, hold on. No, never mind. Please continue. You have any other questions, Bond?
It's this is a bit of wordplay. I mean, like I said, you could call the role whatever the fuck you want, and it could have whatever powers we want. But when people traditionally think of commissioner, they think as top of the PD hierarchy and in charge of all departments. But there is only one currently. At the end of the day, is this essentially just appointing or assisting the state, if we're going to use Crane's terminology, in appointing a chief of police?
Yeah. Yes.
You know how we brought in Miss Wright, Malton, or anyone else who remembers?
Yep.
Yeah.
How myself and the government brought in Miss Wright to help formulate the city council? Yeah, that was done because the state needed a conduit, okay, to assist me, kind of like a rubber ducky theory, right? You bounce ideas off people, you hear yourself talk. It's not necessarily because Max is like, the end all be all of PD bureaucracy. It's because he's a person who has the authority to handle the communication and assembly of information. And he's a third party, distinct from the PD, which allows him to attempt to be somewhat objective. And if his objectivity comes into question, that's why he has to report it to superiors. That's why the decision is not coming from him directly. I'm struggling to make this any more clear. I feel like the whole purpose here is you get a third party individual who comes in like a fixer and says, hey, you're too lost in the sauce of your own department to really see things for how they may truly be. And although it is tough sometimes, you need someone else to come in and tell you, hey, this is going on or that's going on. And, I do this all the time in the DOJ. There's a reason why we have open discussion, is because sometimes you need to be challenged and your ideas need to be, fully articulated. You need to be forced to put your ideas to paper and prove your theories, because sometimes your assumptions don't pan out. And all this is just an exploratory function to see if things are panning out the way they should be. And guess what? I think one thing everyone here is missing, including the captains, is that, and Max, correct me if I'm wrong, it is a very real possibility that he does all this exploratory investigation, he goes through, and he finds out that the people who are complaining to him are being hyperbolic.
Right.
They were misrepresenting information, and things are actually going well.
Yeah.
That's a distinct possibility.
I plan on doing an investigation, right? And I plan on having experts, as the Chief Justice said, go in and do the brunt of that work. So one way or the other, we're going to find out the truth. And yeah, he's right. It very well could end up that way. I mean, all of the stars could have aligned.
Yeah, and that's a total possibility. I just thought about also when it comes to like the Civilian Oversight Board. I thought that was going to be the way of the public applying the pressure as far as
well,
the PD.
we discussed this, Lex. The Civilian Oversight Board is meant to handle distinct disputes and articulated incidents on an individual basis. So Malton's purview is to assemble a group of civilians, again, an objective third party, who can
Start
look at
up
a
the
dispute between
shredders.
civilian A and cop B, or cop A and cop B, or vice versa, or whatever. Bring them in, investigate by interviewing them, getting evidence, getting reports, and then coming to a decision.
Why is he intentionally
The Civilian Oversight
misunderstanding
Board is not
Crane?
meant to evaluate
Let's not
a
forget the
bureaucracy.
line in our speech.
If I could,
The
sum it up,
willful
and
and
maybe I'm dumbing
weaponized
it down a
ignorance
little bit too much,
demonstrated by
but would it
Captain
be fair to
Leonardo
say that the
Slag.
Civilian Oversight Board is intended to be reactive, while this
Correct.
legislation or this commissioner or whatever is intended to be proactive?
Very, very well put.
I see.
Okay, so I guess I'll address the elephant in the room. The fact that the wording on this has changed pretty
Drastically.
In real time.
What do you mean?
And-
What? Pardon?
To state
Hello?
this, the third bullet point, I have a copy here. When I was reading it, where it said initiation of the audit of certain law enforcement officers after receiving several reports about their conduct in order to determine whether or not corruption, unfair internal gatekeeping.
Yeah, that was
or
before Max
misconduct in
and I had a
general
conversation
has
about the role of
transpired.
the Civilian Oversight Board.
That was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Are you guys really that out of touch with your jobs that you can't fucking check the reports at least once a day?
This
Max.
is one copy that I still have, Max.
Yeah, okay.
I did not
Okay,
agree.
look, my
Everything
bad.
going on.
Look, I thought it was our responsibility to keep abreast of everything. Obviously,
I have read it all, but I have not copied it all down. I'm sorry, I didn't think
look,
to do that.
Obviously, this is a very important subject because I was told that right away this is something we had to speak about. Okay, and if this is something you guys are truly passionate about and being involved in, then you would have had the facts 100%. You would have checked the report again, anything. Okay, and why not? Why not? Nice try.
We should make a motion.
None of this is productive.
So initial concerns and whatnot are pertaining to those initial wording. Because that just shows me what the actual intentions are. And then
Well, hold on. Before you continue, what are the actual intentions, Etta?
you wanted control. You wanted
A control of
to be
what?
able-
Control of what?
The PD.
Okay, so this third bullet point in particular speaks about what, Etta? Off the top of your head.
It gave the power to the mayor's office.
Do you checking your notes right now?
I'm just stating the wording.
That was the rough draft, the initial wording. Initially, I thought it was a good idea for the mayor's office to be the only ones that actually handled auditing of police officers that were conducting themselves in a way that was not conducive to an actual healthy environment for police officers to be able to do their job.
My whole point is, why is this even necessary? Why didn't we just bring in the captains like we have right now?
Yeah,
and
why have
sat
we not
down
spoken with
and
them?
had this conversation before we even had to write up this legislation
Turner-
to get this whole, hornet's nest stirred up?
Turner, I know you've had a leave of absence recently. How long were you on LOA?
Roughly 14 days.
14 days. Okay. I've tried to speak with Slacks, and fortunately I did. I met Ruth for the first time last night. It felt like the stars aligned when I was able to get all three of them in a room. Regardless, I did.
Regardless, yelled at them and accused them of treason.
Oh, excuse me. Are you? What is this?
Is
coming?
that not what happened?
They did. She suggested it. It came from her mouth.
Hyperbole, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Yep, you said it.
Yeah, I said it because I was trying, just like I was when I tried. Shut the. Listen, I was extending an olive branch to them last night when I invited them to speak with me in my office. Okay. All right. And in being met with any semblance of, hey, maybe you need some help. Hey, maybe this isn't working. Captain Roo's first instinct was to make a joke about overthrowing the government. Okay? So don't turn this on me. I was trying to conduct myself.
I don't care about that joke.
Was not,
But
that was
since
not
we
a
have
first
them
instinct.
here,
Come
I'd
on,
be happy
Mayor.
to hear their opinion.
That is unfair to say that happened in that conversation. We want to work with you. We do. I want to work with you. I believe in you, right? But at the same time, it doesn't feel good when you're shouting back at us when we're trying to talk to you.
It doesn't feel good when you are just... Look, it doesn't matter, okay? It was last night.
No. This is productive.
Yeah.
We're using feeling words.
Okay, all right. What isn't productive is last night...
No, not objective. Feeling words.
I don't want to use feeling words right
Well,
now.
Let's start with,
it
it makes me feel this way when you do this.
Okay,
I don't want to turn this meeting to feelings, okay? Because we're here for facts, right? So let's just stick to that.
Okay, so in honoring the Chief Justice, it makes me feel when the three of you waltz into my office, ill-equipped with misinformation and what have you, with a preconceived notion of what it is I plan on doing, that you are so scared and defensive that you feel that you need to circle the wagons and try to attempt to poke holes in any suggestion that I had to make to you. That makes me feel like shit. And that makes me feel like you guys aren't doing it because you have the best interest of Los Santos in mind. It makes me feel like you guys have your interest in mind. And the document that you sent me...
How does that make you feel, Slacks Turner?
Well, real quick, since we're talking about feelings,
way.
I felt we had to come to your office to get anything out of you. We got no response from you. We got nothing, no corpse brought up to us. We
went to the
wanted
horse.
to.
We want to hear from the horse's mouth and figure out exactly what's going on because we're hearing a lot of things from a lot of different officers and a lot of different people. So we said, let's go talk to the mayor.
Who talked to you? Are they in this room
Many
right
people
now?
talk to us.
Who?
Talk to you.
Well,
The
who talk-
majority of the officers.
Yeah, we'd like to know who the officers
who have
are.
you spoke to?
Who are this majority that came to you?
Look, see, that's the thing right now. Those officers could lose their job if I were to say
No,
something.
they're not.
No, they
Yeah,
cannot.
give me a fucking break.
we-
Give me
we-
a
we-
break.
we-
You-
given somebody
when I met with Flop and Cornwood 2 days ago, you called both of them twice to find out what they were doing and where they were. I invited you to that meeting and you said no. Why are you stalking them like that? What are you afraid of?
Where the fuck is Ruth?
No.
Oh God.
You stupid ass Ruth. Fuck her. Where is she?
No, I literally told you to leave.
Wasn't hugged enough.
Leave, Rami. I told you to leave. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I contacted my officers because they're in the middle of nowhere. 10-7, I answered the radio because I was worried they're being kidnapped.
So you
That was
called
my fear.
you called them personally then on your phone.
Yes, because you're not answering the radio. I asked them multiple times, or 311 over the radio, no response at all. So
Okay.
I called their
Problem
personal
with
cell.
us keeping checks on
No,
on
not,
officers?
I just
We're
didn't.
not reprimanding people.
I didn't understand the context. Okay.
Right, and we didn't understand the context of what you were going through, right? I think the game of telephone is what Crane talked about here very well.
Misinformation,
You have a
assumption.
perspective on the police department, and we have a perspective on what's going on as far as outside of our police department. I think.
Okay,
it's
we're going
more
in circles. Can we just do this? Can we agree that in the future, if you guys hear something about each other, you wait to talk to each other before drawing conclusions? Is that fair?
We want an open line of communication.
I know.
Max, is that fair?
I'm more than willing to do that. I would love to do
cool.
that.
I think that's more productive than listening to a bunch of gossip people who have their own agendas and biases.
And
So let's talk to each other in the future. And by the way, Slag, this is not me saying that I don't honestly think there's also an objective need for information gathering. But let me just put it this way. If you think Willie Glory is a gossip hound, well, I don't know what to say to you.
I'm not worried about that. For me, I'm not even worried. If the mayor goes up to an officer and says, hey, how is the PD doing? I have no problem with them telling the mayor exactly what they're going through and what they think. I have no issue whatsoever, right? I think for me, if there's a problem or we want to have an efficient resolution for it, I just feel like officers should follow. Just gain a command. We should go through Nakota or the captains.
Do you
try to figure out?
Do you know the name of the cop who showed me into MRPD last night?
Yeah, Buck. I hired him myself.
Well, is he okay?
Buck Fleming. Of course he's all right. Why
He's
wouldn't he
all
be
right.
all
I mean, why wouldn't he be okay? I'm confused.
Well, I mean, is he going to receive any reprimand or punishment for allowing us into the building?
Why would he receive any punishment for that?
I'm asking
Mr.
you
Mayor,
if that is what is going to happen. I'm not accusing you of
Absolutely
it
not.
happening.
I talked to him, and he told me the same conversation you told me. And I said, that's fine.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So during the initial, I guess you could say speech when you're presenting this case, you were explaining how officers are afraid to speak due to repercussion. What situation arose that that was your presumption of what happens to officers?
I've spoken to several officers now, and every time I ask them about how it's going or how they feel about their superiors or how everything is operating within the police department, every single one of them hesitated. Like, because they were afraid of what was going to happen to them if they were to even begin speaking out of line. Nakota himself in our council meetings is afraid to speak to the 100% of his job title because he is afraid that it's going to contradict what you guys think.
And I will interject. I want to make this point very clear because I hope this isn't lost on Nakota or anyone else in this room. So for everyone's benefit, the logic behind the creation of some of these positions, such as healthcare, law enforcement, head of the bar, was that if I wanted my own opinion, I already have it. I am the status quo of the DOJ. Slacks and Turner, you are the status quo of the PD. You set policy, you direct, the vision, and you create the culture. The point of having a PD liaison and a head of the bar association separate from the high command or de facto chief leadership of the department is so that we can get a different opinion from the status
Want me to
quo.
get a hit on Crane?
So
Crane
the
is the
idea
only
was,
person
the lawyers
who is even
don't like
entertaining
something
the possibility
policy-wise
of
going on
trying
with
something
DOJ.
like this.
They
Everyone
don't
else
have to
was
be
so
afraid of trying to go all the
scared.
way up and challenge the status
Everyone,
quo, aka me.
Nakota,
They can go
Malton
through
less so.
Malton, and
He's more
Malton
trying
can
to
be their voice. Same thing
Snake.
with Nakota. The idea is
Cantor,
is
the
that
captains,
he can
the
go to
Edda,
the rank and
all
file.
the-
They can bring concerns
all
to
of
him,
them.
and they can emerge topics such as have being said to the mayor. Unfortunately, what the mayor is reflecting is that his impression, and again, his feeling, his impression, subjective, is that his impression is that Nakota is simply acting as a mouthpiece for the status quo, aka you guys. And
Did Mayor
not
Giga work for your
affecting
side the
will
entire
of
day, by the way?
rank and file.
Oh, I know.
I don't know if that's
I
accurate
know.
or not, and I'm sure Nakota can speak for himself.
If Michael Simone
Yeah,
and Max
the
weren't
officers
close,
who, well,
this would
I'll
have
just
been a
say two
disaster.
things. Number one, I was a bit confused when I read this document previously, in conjunction with learning about the facts that apparently the newly elected chief of staff was going to officers and telling them that I needed to be recalled from my position. So that was a little bit worrying.
Did that happen?
No, that's not at all what I said. Okay, there's a game of
Slacks?
telephone that's happening here.
Slacks,
I'm gonna
you wanna step
tell you
in?
what my exact words were.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, I will
what did
tell
you
you what my
say?
exact words were. Some people are asking me about how Lance was doing, and were asking me about what the council meetings were like and what Nakota were like. And I said that Lance was fighting for the lawyers super hard, and that I was really, really proud to call him my president of the Bar Association. And I did not see the same fire from Nakota. That was all I said. I did not try to throw anybody on the bus and say that he was doing shite or anything like that. I was just asked my opinion. I was a lawyer. I was not a chief of staff. I had not taken any oath or anything of the like. And I'm gonna go back to that Bill of Human Privileges for that freedom of speech. I'm entitled to give my opinion.
So
and
you
Lance has
didn't-
been doing
oh,
a
go ahead.
bang up fucking job. He's been doing amazing.
So you did not say to anybody that I should be
When they asked
recalled.
what they can do about it, I said that that's an action that they can try to take. I don't even know if it's feasible. That's not for me to say. I just gave legal advice as a lawyer. I was retained by
For
many
the
of the
record, there is no
PD.
recall. There is only.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Thanks. I said that would be an option, but I wasn't even sure if it was feasible, right? I'm like, that's something you could try. Don't know until you try it, right? But thanks for that, Crane.
Elected officials are impeachable. Appointed officials may be
Right.
removed by the state.
Yeah, fired or whatever. Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but I mean, I had PD coming to me, crying, actually crying, because they were so scared and concerned that they wanted to engage in a collective bargaining agreement. A collective bargaining agreement.
Interesting.
What do you mean by that?
Collective bargaining for what?
Like a union?
Yes.
Well, you know, if I may,
And oh, Cletus, okay.
I just I don't like the word union. That's all, just for my own personal reasons. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to speak up out of turn.
Sure.
Go ahead.
You sure your last name ain't Dan? They don't much like the union either.
Oh, it just is what it is.
So this is a report that you received, Nakota, from who?
I've heard from 3 different people that my position was called into question, but I'm confused about the collective bargaining issue. That this was what they came to you instead of to me to collective bargain for.
Hold on. Are any of the people in this room that are
Hold on,
counselors?
Mayor. Hold on, Mayor. You never mentioned a single officer's name yet, to be fair, okay?
I cannot break privilege.
Specifics,
I cannot
think-
break attorney-client privilege. I will not
You
name
will
names.
get those names, I promise. Did a counselor relay this to you, Nakota?
No.
Okay. Continue.
What would PD members want to collectively bargain for?
I'm not going to break privilege. Crane is right here. I would like to have my bar license back, in one day when I'm off of LOA. So I'm not going to break privilege. I'm sorry.
Could you be acting in your official capacity as a lawyer if you're on a leave?
No, but I'm still a practiced. Crane, can I just break attorney-client privilege if I'd like to be a lawyer again one day?
I have never considered the question of whether or not privilege survives someone turning in their bar license.
I've always considered it to still apply.
I have not considered that in this jurisdiction.
As someone who has been elected to speak to the lawyers, I would imagine most of them would say that that oath carries on until the death of said client themselves or a written waiver.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree, Lance.
That is a persuasive argument.
Oh, shit. You said you had something else, Dakota?
Perhaps that is a city council matter to vote on.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. No,
look at
those were
that.
the only 2 things.
Okay. Do we have any misunderstandings about this act as written?
Now that the captains have had a chance to read over it, do y'all have any questions for us?
I already kind of just, aired out my frustration as far as what I think I would like to see. And for me, at the end of the day, as long as good people are in charge, as long as, there's checks and balances, I'm all for change. I welcome it with open arms. And I welcome anybody from the city council to come down to the police department and have a conversation with us. I'll open the doors for y'all to see what we do. I'll share SOPs with y'all if you'd like to hear about it.
Of course.
We're not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to run away from accountability. Hell, I'll be the tip of the spear when it comes to accountability. I'll be the first person to raise my hand and say, you know what? I messed up and I could do a better job.
And it is not the intention of the mayor's office to bulldoze what you guys have been working on, as I told you last night, before things got heated. All in favor of this act? Yay.
Hang on, I
need to read this again.
Here's my going to be my last point. Before if anyone.
How long have they had?
Talk about this further. We can. I want to phrase this. Sorry. Look, this. I think that a lot of concerns have been discussed. I think a lot of there's been a lot of back and forth here. I get that there is, we could always repeal this next week, next month, next administration, etc. However, I would also like to point out that the reverse is possible. This is a plan that could be gotten to in steps. I'm not saying that this is what has to happen, but is there a world in which we could play around with the wording a little bit, shall we say?
I can offer a compromise.
If I could finish my thought.
Oh, yeah,
first,
sure.
Yeah. It was to strip down the wording, shall we say, where we do affirm that, let's say, the mayor's office is, basically the mouthpiece of the state, the liaison between the state and the PD, if the state is not available. The full extent of their powers are to be determined, discussed next week. However, a power that they do have is to establish fact-finding missions to determine what the problems of the PD are, and then based on the results of that, that's when we could potentially discuss additional powers, responsibilities, etc.
I want to say something. We had a previous piece of legislation, which was the thing about time, right? The minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that a lot of us did was abstain because we were uncertain about our capacity to make such a decision. It sounds like some of the contextualization from what Malton is saying and others have expressed is that they are concerned about the exact definition of the state and how the authority rests and how this would effectively pan out. So might I suggest that instead of voting this into legislation to be published tomorrow, why don't we instead vote to send this to the state? So what I mean by that is, instead of voting yay or nay on publishing this, why don't we vote yay or nay on sending this to Max's bosses, my bosses, all of our bosses, and getting their input? And if they approve, then you have your tacit approval, not only that they feel that there is enough restraint and checks and balances here to satisfy their interest, but also you know that they are actively involved in paying attention. Would that help to quell things?
Honestly, that would for me, but I would like to hear the mayor's opinion on this, since this is his piece of legislation.
Well, first of all, I'm not the only one who worked on this. Okay. Second of all, if we cannot showcase to the state that we are able to operate with the powers that we've been instilled with, be it the ability to repeal acts that are not effective, or be it the ability to impeach each other if we are found to be corrupt or overreaching, then going to them with this act in hand and attempting to get their approval for it kind of defeats the whole purpose of this council.
It's not a bad point. It's not a bad point.
But you're making progress. You're pushing legislation.
Well, and
Things are
I'll put it
moving
this
along,
way.
right?
Effectively, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the same thing either way. Because if we pass something, well, actually, that's interesting.
Wouldn't it look a lot worse if your boss does not agree with it and says, you know what, it's a terrible idea?
Well,
I mean,
I'll get
Well,
fired.
hold on. There is a mechanism. There is a mechanism that exists already, and that mechanism is spelled out in the way that the city council functions. To Max's point, we can both exercise our authority and leave it open for the state to repeal this at any time if they so please. That is not enacting a supermajority. So, for example, if Madam Treasurer and one or two other folks have doubts, they can vote nay, and that will effectively leave the window open for this act to be examined at any time by the state and repealed.
To expand
That is
on-
another way to do it, to do the oversight.
To expand on this is a similar method to how some PD decisions were made in the past. Is it palpable, let's say, to some of us, where again it's a compromise between the two systems? We potentially vote this in, and in the event that it's not a supermajority, the state has 72 hours to veto it. They could obviously veto it at any time, as is their purview. But this doesn't kick in for, I'm just going to throw out a time frame here, 72 hours. That way, like, if the state wishes to stop this before it even comes into effect, that's within their purview, and then they could stop it after as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's It's a sunrise clause, not a sunset clause. Like we voted legislation to come into effect half a week from now, a week from now, and you know the Fed still has their time to review it and stop it before it even starts if that's what they wish.
The Fed is aware. They know what this thing says. They know how I feel about it. They are aware. And guess what? No veto.
Well, the bosses I talked to give me a different perspective as well. So, it seems like I said, what was proposed by Moulton to just vote on it and wait till next week till we get the answer. I think that's a good compromise as far as what's going on.
When did you speak?
I believe yesterday with them.
Okay, I spoke to them 10 minutes before this meeting.
I will admit I was a part of that conversation, and I can confirm what Max is saying.
So let's take it to a vote.
I got a couple questions about it, if you don't mind.
You are not a council member. Let's take it to a vote.
Hold on. I am. Hold on. Let's, guys. Please.
Don't screech no. Okay, you tried to
We
shush
worked so
Cornwood.
hard. We worked so hard on the tone. Guys. Look, please, for my sanity. Okay, I am a council member, Max, and I want to make sure that we give everyone the benefit of the doubt so that we do this mutually. Okay, we've already spent enough time on this. Can we please just afford a couple more questions?
Sure. Sorry, Turner.
Okay,
I'm
Turner, go ahead.
Thank you there. Just to make sure I got the verbiage right, I just want to get clarification on this. Commissioner of the LSPD, and this is in writing on this, Commissioner of the LSPD is empowered to carry out the functions of LSPD at the highest level. Commissioner of LSPD does not answer to the mayor's office in any capacity after being selected.
That's right.
The commissioner is a well-respected cop and senior plus at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes over your head.
No, he goes over your head. He's your boss.
He's equal. He would be equal to the council, essentially. He serves the state just like we do. He would be the PD's boss.
Or she.
The verbiage is that he does not answer to the mayor's office.
That's
Correct.
right.
Just like the Chief Justice does not answer to the PD.
I wanted to put that in there specifically just so that you guys don't think that I'm installing like a puppet that's working for you. Like that person has no obligation to do anything that I tell them to do. Okay.
And guess what? He doesn't even pick that person. It's in conjunction with the state. So even if that wasn't in there, it wouldn't necessarily be his exact choice.
That's right.
I am curious. The investigations that the mayor's office would be doing on the PD, who would be doing that? Would that be something that you yourself would be doing, or would you be?
No, that's what I mentioned earlier. Willie Glory and Lance Moulton. Willie was my pick.
It's already been said.
Lance was a mutual discussion point. Yes.
I mean, look, my recommendation is I would have liked to see like Jenny Hall in that just for additional coverage, and I believe she's well qualified. But
I would agree with that too.
Of course.
But that's but yeah, when I
wait, are you? Hold on. Sorry, that's inappropriate. Go ahead. I just had a realization. I'll keep it to myself.
Okay. I'll full disclosure for my part on this. Obviously I was given a softball question about all this, and the pitch was Office Space, send in the Bobs as a fact-finding mission.
Yep.
The names that I pitched were all former members of PD High Command who each were the administrative de facto heads of their respective departments, who I feel would be qualified for a fact-finding mission. That being said, look, obviously, the wording can be played around a little bit. I see here that some definitions have been changed. So, before a vote, I would like just two more minutes to read over this. But
take 5. All right, I'm gonna go piss.
I think yes, please.
Take 5.
I have one more question, Mr. Mayor. Can I ask you just one more quick question?
Sure. And look, I'm sorry for shutting you down just now, man. I'm just.
That's all right.
All right.
When we spoke yesterday, you mentioned that this was only going to be enacted for your term.
Yeah, I'm still interested in pursuing that because a big concern of the council is a lot of what ifs about the future and potential abuse. In order to ease their minds, that is something I'm more than willing to do.
What? And I didn't hear the question. Sorry, I was talking.
He was asking if it would be for the duration of my term. I told him that's something I'm interested in doing to assuage the fears of the council.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Like I
was
said,
just
emergent
because that
state,
wasn't
emergent state temporary action. This is not like a forever thing.
right. I just didn't see that in writing on the.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw. I meant to throw in there. I got distracted. It will be at the bottom. We're back.
I will ensure there is a sunset clause.
Yep.
Didn't I say that last night? Sure did. Sure did. This outfit's kind of fire, dude. No shoes. This is going horribly? No, what do you mean? This is going perfectly. I haven't had to change anything about this at all. Examples of the power that the mayor's office reserves but are not limited to are as such. That's the most important line. And no one has said anything about it yet. So. I'll be right back. 1 sec.
Wow, this is my office. This is what you do?
Yo. Burger. Face Man, thanks for subbing. Hootie Plays, thanks for subbing, dude. Got a lot of new subs today. Thank you. I'm missing ammo. RGB, thanks for 5 subs, dude. Was that an earthquake? Dude, my chair is just squeaky, guys.
Why does the treasurer want to know this? So if they come and they, you know, they don't want to look like they're snaking anybody, you know? Sorry, go ahead.
The people that I spoke to know me very well.
Okay.
So that's not a concern.
Okay. Well,
There are people that I trust and respect, and they also trust and respect me. So.
Why is Corn so loud? It's not that he's loud, it's that she's quiet.
well, I mean, who all did you speak with?
I mean, who did? I still have yet to get names, so.
Okay, because I have like double-digit names from the last 2 months who come to me directly because they trust me and they know that I'm somebody that's going to care about what they have to say, that I listen to them, and that I make them feel heard.
Did anybody go to Nakota?
I did multiple times.
What about any of the other officers? Did they go to him?
I'm unaware.
Because I mean, it's
But these issues have been well before the PD liaison position has been a thing.
okay, but even still, after he was instated, he's been in his position for what, almost a month now.
Yeah, and I've gone to Nakota. I mean, hell, I love Nakota. Hell, I gave him. He was short on money for a house. I gave him $15,000 the other week, and I told him, you don't even got to give me interest. Just you just pay me back when you can, brother, because that's the way I operate. You know, I have the only thing I have to my name is my gun. I don't got a house. I don't got a car. I don't got none of that shit. I don't even have a personal PD vehicle because I spent all my money on everybody else. On whether it's the PD or other officers that I'm close with, I gave them what I got. Because they're low on cash, and that's just. I know we're not in a, we're in a little bit of an economic crisis right now. I understand that, but if I can give a little bit now to make everybody else happy,
All right.
then I can just, kind of help
The
do
staff
what I
room
can to
couch is
keep the
covered
boat
in piss,
moving.
so I think people are just using that
And
now.
that's just the. Oh shit.
Is that an alpha?
Is he on duty?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you didn't think about this.
Ooh.
Boom.
That's my wife.
Okay. I heard an alpha. I ran out there, made sure
Also,
that it
here you
wasn't
go,
one of the captains
Bib.
or some shit
Thanks,
getting
Bib.
shot at or something. I don't know. Okay, shit.
It's clear you have, you have a lot of care for the PD, and I definitely see that. I can't speak to what a lot of people are saying, but no, I see what you mean.
Who's that? Female?
Excuse me, Corn, if I could,
You
you
find
move
out
out of the
who
way
it
so I can
is?
sit down.
Okay, I'm dead.
What's Crane wearing?
A little bit.
His old man
Oh,
hat.
well, thank you. Oh hell, I got us all a bunch of hold on. I got food for everybody.
Oh, I could use food.
Do you have any cigarettes?
Oh no, hell.
God damn it.
Are we supposed to read that when you pulled off screen instantly? That's my mods.
I can't be the only smoker in this fucking room.
I am.
You're a smoker?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where's your cigarette?
Of course.
I'm not strapped right now.
We're social smokers.
Does anybody else need food? I got about 30 more bags of chips and I got some waters.
Try not to eat into the mic.
I'm okay for now, thank you.
Miss anything
I'm good,
when I was
I'm
out
good.
Smoking.
I was out as
Not
well.
really. We're chatting a little bit, but nothing crazy.
Oh, Crane, can I talk to you about the outstanding cases I have on the docket after this?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like we're just waiting for Nakota.
Yeah, I guess just That idle chit chat. Crane, was it a requirement that she gave up her bar license for the
Probably.
duration, or was that your decision?
Correct.
Siobhan? Okay, all right, that's fine.
Well, I informed her that she would have limitations.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
much like it would kind of be the inverse of Cornwood over there.
Yeah.
If Cornwood is ever reinstated as a police officer, he, having a bar license, cannot defend criminal. He can engage in civil matters not against the PD. So contracts between two individuals, et cetera, business proposals, blah, blah, blah. But he should not engage in any conflicting interest sort of things. And I said the opposite to Siobhan, which was you can participate in criminal matters while being on the council, but you should not participate in civil matters because there are obvious issues there.
Yeah. No civil cases. I just want to talk to you about the ones that I have outstanding, what I should do with some of them. Thank you.
Now that we're all back, before we vote or anything, I do want to say something, and I mean this. I want to apologize to everybody. My belief is that my personal estimation of my role in this city, as well as this council, as a microcosm thereof, that I assign myself and I take responsibility for, is being a mediator. As someone who held, I would say, probably the most universal information of everyone in this room about this act and the different perspectives, I failed in communicating and being available to assuage the concerns and misinformation that were occurring throughout the last week. So I personally think that I failed in that regard, and I apologize. And I will endeavor in the future to do better.
Same.
I will make a personal request for this. Sorry, Simone, go ahead.
No, I think it kind of ties into it, and I'm not.
Deputy Mayor, can you speak up, please?
Yeah, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I don't think that is if this is how this happened, but we also need to be careful. I know that we're putting shit up in the MDT, but we also need to realize that when we put it up, it doesn't mean that's the final wording, nor that is the final revision of a mandate or legislation. And that's why we have these meetings, is for talking things through. So sometimes I think if we look at something, we should probably question it, and that's why you can make edits. You can look at it. You can make notes, whatever. Example would be that you guys saw one wording that was then changed later on by Crane and Max. So things do change around. That's again why we have these meetings, is to discuss and make the final changes. Just because it's brought up doesn't mean that it's going to get pushed through the same day. If everyone disagrees, or if you think it has to be reworded or rewritten, that's what we'll do. So we need to be careful not to run with whatever is written. It could be work in progress.
The last thing I'll see is obviously this legislation that was proposed was very contentious. Obviously, I can't mandate this, but I do believe that this is important enough vote that no one should abstain from it. That's just my request from everyone here, is that there's no abstentions on this one, although of course it can't be enforced.
Just to clarify, is there going to be a amendment in here? I thought I heard you say this, Mayor, about the term of this proposal.
Yeah, two things that we have agreed on with the officers is that there will be a sunset clause for at least this mayor's term. What was the other one?
I do have a question real quick. Let's say this selected individual for commissioner is incompetent, doesn't do the job you're looking for, mayor. How do you remove that person? What is there like
Petition
a vote?
the state.
Yeah,
State. Okay.
it'll be fine. I promise.
Just like if you think I'm incompetent, you go to my boss.
Understood.
Voting time. Naturally, I presented this. I vote yay. Liaison of the Police Department, Los Santos.
I vote nay.
Head of Bar, former Police Commissioner, Moulton.
Yay.
Head of medical group, or liaison of the medical group of Los Santos, Philippa Cantor.
I vote nay.
Chief Justice, the Venerable Alan Crane. Do not vote.
I am of the assumption that Madam Treasurer will vote nay, and thus the vote will not reach a supermajority, and thus that will accomplish the state oversight that we have referred to, and thus I am comfortable voting yay because I believe in my bosses and the state to curb and repeal this should anything go awry. So I vote yay.
The Lady Treasurer. Deputy Mayor Michael Simone.
I vote yay.
Chief of Staff Siobhan Thoroughbred.
Yay.
The yeas have it.
5-3.
Passes 5-3, which means it's not a supermajority. Thus, everyone can be assured there is state oversight and potential to repeal should the mayor act out of turn.
Good.
Okay, I will go ahead now and I will edit the report into its final form. I will ensure there is a sunset clause at the conclusion of my editing. I will ask that everyone review my notes and edits such that we are all in agreement. This is what we voted for. When we all agree, then I will publish it and I will pass the published version on to the PD.
I don't, you know, I think that's good. I'd also like to say for everyone here, you know, I've talked about this with a lot of people, but Max, I will not hesitate to repeal this if this starts to go off at the first sign of it going off the rails. I will be submitting something to repeal this.
Well, seeing as I will be petitioning you to basically head up this investigation, I hope it doesn't go off the rails.
And what investigation you're looking into, so we can have at least a bit of perspective?
Everything. The goal. Sorry, I don't want to answer for Max, but my perspective that Max and I discussed at length is that this is not a targeted investigation of one thing. This is, as I said, I brought in Miss Wright to help guide me in constructing and orchestrating the city council and our modern form of government. This is simply an investigative panel that will hold interviews with members of the PD should they wish to speak to the panel. And those members of PD can bring up anything they wish. And the panel will then report those concerns, claims, etc. accordingly, and their findings thereof, in which I hold the utmost respect and trust in Lance Moulton and Willie Glory to do so with integrity to the mayor. The mayor then will report that information to the state, and then decisions can be made about outcomes based on that information. Is that accurate, Mr. Mayor?
100,000,000%.
I would also like that. Obviously, nothing is set in stone, but it is my belief that while this may be a team of people, I believe that each person operates differently. I would recommend to the mayor's office, whoever is ultimately chosen as the head of this fact-finding mission and whatever team is assembled, that they do not reach their results together. This should be 2 to 4 people who go in as individuals, do their own assessment in whatever way they feel is appropriate, come to whatever conclusion they feel is appropriate, independent of the other people who are going in to investigate. And then that is when the findings come together and are presented.
Yeah. The mayor's office and you will discuss the precise methodology to making all of this happen at a later date.
Interested.
I'm a big fan of that. I've said this before when it comes to groupthink, but there's a famous experiment called the lion experiment where they get 8 people in a room, 7 of them are plants and 1 is the subject, and they put a piece of paper in the middle of the table and it has a number of lines on it. 2 of them are relatively close, but pretty obvious if you have a functioning brain, and what we would call a better than lukewarm IQ. Which one is the longest line? The purpose of the experiment is that the 7 planted people go first, and they all pick the wrong answer. About 70% of the time, the subject of the experiment goes with the crowd, even though he knows it's wrong, because he's embarrassed to say his own thoughts and be wrong. So I'm firmly in agreement with Malton that I think an independent assessment.
It was always going to be that way. I informed the captains last night of such as well. Sick. Well, we got the hard part out of the way. Does anyone have any suggestions of legislation they'd like to propose?
Yes, but I need time to edit this first, so everyone else, I defer to you.
Can I just to reassure people that if there's any concerns in general about what we just did, if people do believe that there will be some sort of abuse or seeing that things are heading in the wrong direction, impeachment is still an option, and that is something also to keep in mind.
Yep.
So if shit does go off the rails and it's not Malton's fault,
we already
again,
said
impeachment is an option.
Now, my thing is, and I know this is past, I'm just giving my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we just creating another layer, right? Because that commission needs to have oversight as well, right? Isn't the same thing that what might happen again with the captains might happen with the commissioner, where there's no oversight?
There's the state oversight, just like me.
Right, but the
They
state
already
oversight
under the
is
state oversight.
exactly. My bosses are the feds, right? That's who I
Yeah.
am. So isn't it the same thing?
Your concern is that
That's just
you were
an
saying that
extra
who's looking over the person looking over the person looking over the person is what you're
Exactly. That was the reason why we're here today, right?
No, we're here today because this is an investigative panel into a
Because?
series of concerns
Right.
that have been brought.
Because the mayor believes there's no oversight for the captains, right? Who's holding them accountable?
That may be one facet of it. My belief that is not the end-all be-all purpose of this.
I understand, but I'm discussing what the legislation is supposed to do, right? I'm just trying to kind of, give my thought process on it.
Let me ask you this: Were you intending on creating or electing a chief or commissioner anyway?
Yeah, so we proposed something to the mayor actually, where we proposed for 5-6 names to the city council, and y'all pick somebody who's a good fit for them.
Okay, that's the same thing except the state's doing it.
I mean, you sent me a document, and the only names on that list were the 3 captains.
That was that was a document from Captain Rui's perspective. I provided my guidelines as well too.
So okay, all right. Almost said something
So
really
again,
mean.
again, much like the law enforcement liaison, the idea here is that people can throw their hat in the ring, people senior and above, and if the state thinks that that person is fit, the state can select that person.
Absolutely.
Boom. Sick. Well, don't want to keep you guys from patrol.
I mean, I'm here if you have any more questions, anything you want to talk about, more than happy to answer. If not, we can leave. I mean, I'm not a city council member. I came here to just provide perspective.
My panel and I will contact you at a later date.
Okay,
Alright.
Slacks and Turner, I will make the edits we discussed. I've already given you my word on what that will consist of. I will take the final version and put it into the high command document that we've already discussed before I publish it into legislation, just so you see that I'm honoring my word. I will text you, Slacks, and let you know that it's been updated for your review.
Appreciate it, Chief Justice.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, we'll need somebody to let us out here, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
I'm feeling good about that, guys.
Yeah.
I still have my concerns, but these concerns can always be addressed via legislation at a later date.
I do like how everything is pointed at Max, even though it says mayor and deputy mayor. So I'm just gonna enjoy my cigarette.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't really speak.
You're not the
much
one
on
shit
Michael.
talking them, so it's okay.
They deserve to be shit talked. Let's be honest.
I disagree.
Okay, so
There's some. What's that quote about? Something about the emperor's clothes or something. I don't know.
The Emperor's wearing no clothes.
Shoes, I think you mean.
You can criticize people without actively shit talking.
yeah, they don't listen, man. In response to that meeting last night, they're the only cops on duty. They went back to MRPD. They circled their wagons and they tried to do everything they could to not make this happen. Instead of going out on patrol and keeping these streets safe, which is their fucking job. Okay? And God knows how much they're doing this or how little they're actually doing behind scenes, which is the purpose of this investigation.
I don't disagree with you, Mr. Mayor.
I know your take.
I would
I
just
was in that.
suggest
I was in that
uh,
room last night, and they pretty much spat in Max's face. I'm gonna be real.
Siobhan, to be frank, I don't trust your opinion on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Why don't you trust her opinion, Cantor?
Because she's extremely heavily biased in your favor.
Yeah, and guess who else was biased in my favor? By design, by the government, by Alan Crane, by everyone who.
I'm not arguing against that. That's okay. If you put it
So
in there.
what do you think the alternative
but
would have
when
been
she
with
is
my
trying
other
to
chief of
defend
staff?
you in a situation. I'm not arguing the chief of staff thing. I just said that I don't trust her opinion on how the situation went.
So simply because she is my wife, you think that she is biased?
No, I think Cantor's saying that the chief of staff vouching for your perspective is kind of redundant.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So
it's fine that she is chief of staff. I'm not arguing. But yes.
Okay, so can you
I'm
hold
just
on?
gonna say this right now. Crane is-
Hold on,
alright,
chief of staff,
alright,
please,
I'll be
please,
quiet.
please. Can you read out loud, Miss Philippa, the precise role definition of the
I
chief
know
of
what
staff?
it means.
Pedantic.
Max, I am not arguing about her being chief of staff. I never
she's
once mentioned her
reflecting
being
on
chief
it.
of staff.
I
So
think you guys are missing the point.
Look, if this if this is a council of 8 that is supposed to be, why didn't you say anything about Juno then?
I'm quite literally saying I have no issue with her position. I just said that I do not trust her opinion on how the situation went, because she is obviously biased. That is different to her vote. That is different to her position. That is a personal thing. I am not saying anything about her position or Juno's position or chief of staff or any of that. You are putting words in my mouth.
That's fine. Anyway, listen, she's entitled to her opinion. That's fine. I know that
I
Crane has
understand the
always
purpose of the
trusted me
vote.
to
I get
execute
it.
my best judgment, and that's what counts to me.
Mm-hmm.
So the only two witnesses to what happened last night, you're just you think we're lying? You think we're inflating what happened?
The two witnesses on your side versus the three people.
Versus the armed thugs that have failed to do their job.
It is insane that we have voted to put you in charge of them when you were saying things like
You
this.
didn't vote for shit.
No, I voted against you because of this attitude.
According to you,
He's not in charge of them.
You guys didn't even read the report.
That is what he has consistently told them,
He
which is
not-
why
okay,
I have no
Max,
faith that he will not use it to do so.
Let's all be really fucking clear for a second. Max is a mayor who doesn't wear shoes, who wears jeans imported from a 14-year-old from Portugal who rides a motorcycle inside City Hall up and down the stairs. Okay? He's going to say absurd, loud shit. It's going to be hyper. The man has a facial tattoo. I
Oh, so
usually
he could be
reserve.
hyperbolic, but not
No,
rude. Is that
no.
what you're saying?
What do you? I've not been hyperbolic once.
Stop.
I'm speaking my
Okay,
mind.
That is in and of itself hyperbolic and ridiculous.
Okay, what hyperbole have I spoken?
You just said.
Okay, before that.
Max, you have a way of articulating yourself in a way that is simultaneous your opinion and also the most emphatic and illustrative way of expressing that opinion. And in my definition, that is the perfect example of what hyperbole is. You may be core at the truth of what you're saying. There may be truth to it, but you are also, for your own, I would guess, entertainment and whimsy, often illustrating things in the way that is most comical and absurd to poke fun at the truth that you believe exists. That, to me, is hyperbole.
What's your point?
That you're hyperbolic just as much as they
But
are.
I want to know what Cantor believes that I said was hyperbole before. You said you can do hyperbole, but Ruth
My
can't.
joke was because Crane stopped himself from saying it. It was not my word, and it was that was where the joke came from. Then.
Okay. Well, it is noted that you just completely do not believe my wife and I in matters of the utmost
That
importance.
is not what I said. In this one instance, once again, you were conflating this. In this one instance, I have stated that. I have not brought up any issues with her, the council. I have not brought up any issues in relation to anything else.
Can I say there is a distinct difference, although it may be being lost here due to emotion and heightened tension. There is a distinction between saying that you're not going to take someone's word for something and saying they are lying. Those are two wholly distinct things. For example, when I'm in court and I'm identifying testimony and someone comes up and says, yeah, cuh, me and the cuh was just hanging out in the sewers walking home, cuh. We didn't try to kill those cops, cuh. I never saw that car, dog. Quote, unquote, Mr. Frederick Rowland from about a week ago. I'm not sitting there and calling Mr. Frederick Rowland a liar.
No,
but
of course
when
not.
his buddy, who also was running from the cops with him, gives me the same story, it doesn't add or subtract from his claim because there is a natural bias and incentive to reflect the same information. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying it doesn't add or detract anything. My perspective is what Cantor was saying is when Siobhan chimes in and says, I can agree with him, I was there, that inevitably for her, it does not add or subtract to the veracity of your statement, given that you both have a similar interest and bias. Not to say that you're lying, just that it doesn't influence her meter of whether you were telling the truth in the first place.
Yeah, I get it.
Relatively accurate?
I understand. We're discussing the technical verbiage that she used. I get it. I know that you could argue that she meant it one way. I know and I feel that she meant it another way. Yeah, look, I get it.
I did not.
Okay.
You can feel however you want, but I will say
Okay,
too, I
well,
did not.
I feel that you and the treasurer spoke to each other before this meeting. You came in with an agenda. You probably spoke with Nakota.
I've had a conversation with everyone here other than you and Siobhan because you weren't around yet.
Okay.
I talked with Michael, I talked with Malton, two of your yes votes, by the way, who both tried to convince me to vote yes, as well as yes, Nakota and Etta.
So why'd you vote no? I'm curious.
To be frank, as there are changes in it, it didn't seem quite as bad. And I'm not as concerned about the fact that it passed as I would have been initially.
Before you continue,
okay.
There were no changes except for that third bullet point from the day that you saw it to today. Okay, let's be clear about that. Nothing else changed.
So that specific change, since that did change, I feel more comfortable with it. I still did not feel comfortable putting someone who is throwing such vitriol at all three of the captains so unnecessarily. I don't think you should have a say in any of it, to be frank. I know it does not put you directly under. I know, it just gives you a part of it. But I do not think you should have a say if that is your opinion.
Well, I don't think you should have a vote if you can't read reports a day before the fucking council meeting.
I can read it. I've read it plenty.
It's been in there for 3 days, Cantor.
Why would I have met with people if I had not read it? Why are you making things up that are just completely...
I'm not making it up. Both you and Etta had no idea what that said. You tried to give me
I read to you what it said 3 days ago.
Why?
I obviously read it
Why?
You're speaking
I have read
past
it
each
at
other
numerous
again.
points.
You read it at one point.
Each other again. You're
No,
speaking
I've
past
read
each
both.
other. Guys, we have to address a point the other person makes before making a differing point, or else there is literal no point in discourse, because all you're doing is speaking past each other and reiterating the same thing. If one person says red and the other person says blue, and then the other person just says, no, fuck you, red. And the other person says, what? No, I said blue, not red. And the other person says, no, I said red. What do you mean, you incompetent fuck? And the other person says, no, blue, motherfucker. No recourse will ever be reached. So let's focus on maybe getting to purple. How about that?
Okay. I read it a few days ago. I read it last night. I also read it today along with Malton's changes, which we discussed at length.
Those weren't changes. Those were notes, which is clearly written on the document.
His proposed changes. Sorry.
I mean, I will say that the definition for commissioner was clarified, but that is a very minor thing. I myself had a lot of concerns about this bill as I understood it when I read it. However, through discussing with various parties, I do have a concern about a mayor's office that holds a lot of power over PD. I have significantly less concerns about a mayor's office that is meant to be the liaison between the state and PD.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay, I'm gonna edit this thing. Let's please just try to get to yes together, because otherwise we're just gonna spin in circles. And tension like this will just carry on to other issues, and it'll make our jobs and lives impossible.
Agreed. I will say just for my thing, I do not have anything specific to propose this week. I am, however,
Not
cooking
surprising.
on something next week for government employees, specifically regarding notebooks. The TLDR is that lawyers really like using their notebooks for privileged information. Do I think that should have carte blanche protection like a phone? No, absolutely not.
Myros to spin, thanks for 10 subs.
I do think I do want to write up something for council consideration. So my request for you all is obviously read the MDT. I'll make it a promise to you all here to get what I want to spitball to this council by Thursday. But I would like you all and your respective factions to chew on the issue
Iceman,
of
thanks for subbing.
what does a notebook mean to a government employee legally versus a civilian, especially when we talk about potential traditionally protected information such as medical information, legal information, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, it doesn't need to be discussed now, but I do plan on bringing up something next week, so I would like that to be on your radar.
I think that should be a combo discussion with Cantor's healthcare privilege stuff. I think we should probably
Sure,
just
yeah.
define privilege across the different sectors in one document.
Okay, yeah, fuck it, we can go for that.
Because
that's a good idea.
because we've touched on
That's a good
psych, we've
idea.
talked on doctors, we've touched
Yeah.
on lawyers, we've touched on clergy. We should probably make some kind of unifying legislative piece that discusses and evaluates privilege as a whole.
That's a great idea.
Also, I want to note, Miss Treasurer, that not to be lost on anyone here, part of the I will say benefit in passing this legislation, as confirmed with the state earlier with Max and I, is that the outright restriction on budgetary funds being assigned to PD may now be conditionally lifted on the premise that they follow through on incentives and objectives laid out by the investigative panel and the mayor.
You guys hear that?
So, for example, if the investigative panel deems that there should be a further rollout of a more fleshed out command structure, or the selection of a commissioner by such and such date, or hiring goals or activity goals or FTO goals or whatever, the things that you have previously brought to me that I brought to the state, such as the Caracaras, the FTO incentives, things like that, those may be used as the proverbial carrot. So there is some progress on that front.
Okay, good.
Dakota, you have anything to present?
No, sir, not today.
Captains didn't slip anything before this meeting?
They did not.
Cantor.
I do. I have the patient privacy. Obviously, if you want to have this be a larger discussion, Crane, we obviously can. But I do have my proposed concept. It's not too in depth, to be honest. I want this to be simple and easy to understand. The main reason that I want it to be legislation is so that both PD, lawyers, and the patients whose information will be given out are all informed here on exactly the process that it goes through, potentially before being posted on the docket. I also made up this little thing at the end about legally recognized families because I just thought it would be funny to give medical backing to those legislations to encourage people to pay the money for them.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that. I got you.
My full disclosure on this is I did not help Cantor write this at all. However, we've brain picked on HIPAA off and on many times over the months, shall we say, and also every once in a while the hospital does consult with me on various legal matters. That being said, I didn't really have a hand in that legislation, but it makes sense for HIPAA. We shouldn't have a direct copy of HIPAA. I think that caused a lot of
Agreed.
headaches under old systems. I think what this is an extremely good baseline that could be modified as things come up in the future.
Essentially, I wanted it to only cover an issue that we actually have here, instead of trying to make up other stuff that maybe isn't as much of an issue. So that's about it there. That, and I just wanted to help encourage people to pay for adoptive family and marriage so that we can get more money in the state account. I think that's
People
hilarious.
also need to be more mindful of who they list as their emergency contacts too.
That too, I think that
You
this
won't get lists
no,
of,
it
like,
gives meaning
25
to it.
people.
Yes. There's an
I-
actual purpose behind them instead of just call this fucking giant list of people for me.
I guess I will say, yeah, I think that's more hospital policy. But in relation to, let's say, this legislation, would you, I guess, or the board, would you be discussing like limiting like a max number of emergency contacts, or what would be like that procedure?
We did. I actually, that might be a good idea. We have had in the past a maximum of 5. It's kind of an optional maximum. If people want to contact more than that 5, doctors aren't told not to. But you don't have to contact a fucking laundry list of people. So we could 5 could be good, maybe 5 plus family. So it gives an incentive for that.
I mean, yeah, I think ultimately, it's just more work for you the longer the list is under this legislation,
you're
or
not
more
wrong.
more
Yeah.
chances for someone to get early. So I don't know. I think that's hospital
I think,
purview. But
do you think 5's a decent number there?
I think 5 is good.
yeah, five sounds like fine to me at least. But I would defer to the hospital as a whole or the board as to what they think is appropriate.
I'm pretty happy with 5. I think it I think in regards to this, it could even
Probably gotta get rid of the sunset clause part.
less. The
It
issue is
says
that
it-
emergency contacts are also people that they want contacted.
says it
so
twice.
it serves 2 purposes. I don't want to limit that too hard. It could be a whole separate list, but then no one wants to come down to the hospital and register a bunch of lists of people.
I mean, in
It's just
theory,
not gonna
you
happen,
could
so.
you could cater this to be the top 5 names on their emergency contact list, or the top
Yeah.
3, and
Yeah,
and,
I
and
like
then that way they could still have the list as long as they want. But per this legislation, only the top X number can sign off on that form.
There you go. How about now? I put one of their first 5 emergency contacts and we signed for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds great, and then it still gives
There you
the
go.
freedom for
I could
people
even,
or you all
I
to have
might
more.
even make it 3 because this is pretty big. It should be like you shouldn't have a long list of people that you're willing to have verify your medical information unless you think differently.
Hey, can I ask a question? So this is supposed to be that the emergency contacts can sign even when the individual is incapacitated?
That's only.
Yes.
Wait,
So
is it only when they're incapacitated? Sorry, that's
It
what
says
I.
that I'm able to sign or whatever. So I'm just wondering. So this is essentially a limited healthcare durable power of attorney.
Pretty much.
So limited
So
healthcare
to give,
GPOA. Okay,
To give
I was just
y'all
wondering.
context, yeah, no, you're good. To give y'all context on why I thought this was necessary, our process in the past was if it is a violent crime, just give it to cops immediately. And we did
Oh,
genuinely
man.
run into situations where a patient was injured, then was out and about, and no one even asked them if the cop could get that information. The cop got it and posted it in the docket, and the patient didn't even know. And that is the kind of situation
Oh.
that I want to.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
That is the kind
What?
of situation
That's
that I want to
whack.
assure
Okay.
doesn't happen because
Yeah,
that's a
totally.
little bit
No,
insane.
100%.
It's kind of a fringe case. It's not the most common, but I think just people should have some level of control over it. So at least if it's an emergency contact, they picked that
Somebody they
person.
trusted, right? No,
Yeah.
that makes perfect
Mhm.
sense to me,
Exactly.
100%. But I guess just make sure that people are aware of what putting someone on the emergency contact list may entail,
Yes,
right?
that's
That
why I
would be
want this
it.
to be, public legislation so people
I love
are
that. I
aware of
literally
how
love
how it
this.
works.
I love
Hell yeah,
this
I'm
so
so glad.
much. Yeah, no, this is great.
Can I? Okay,
Yeah,
so I made
what
a
you
couple
got?
edits. Can y'all look at the city council documents, the police continuity plan? I'm just gonna walk everyone through this real quick. So I've added
We've already
a
read it.
couple of just minor phrasings that I think reflect the conversation we had with the captains, and the things that I've mentioned that clarify the, I guess, misinformation or assumptions that were made regarding the act. So first, preserving the initial document on behalf of the state. The capacity on behalf of the state was already written there in the first paragraph, talks about checks and balances. The before in blue, I believe, is a great piece of speech writing by Max, but maybe doesn't convey his exact pure intention. So I've tried to recraft the same intent, but with softer language that I think still reflects the outcome. So you can sort of review for yourself the different language there, but I believe it means the same thing ultimately. There's just some softening language to, avoid ruffled feathers. For example, instead of saying This has potential for great abuse of power. Potential has all been snuffed out in every other corner of government. It simply said this is intended to snuff out any potential perceived or otherwise corruption or inefficiencies leading to abdication of the roles and responsibilities of the current chain of command. From there, I've added very minor phrasing such as the law enforcement, so the constituency of the law enforcement departments of Los Santos, to reflect the fact that we're not asking for the captain's input, we're asking for the rank and file. The opportunity to petition the mayor's office as an agent of the state, again, to reflect the supremacy there. And then down below, you'll see some
Max
of the
being
same
hypocritical
language.
by saying that?
And I see that Max has already added the sunset.
No, because the mayor term is
Given
temporary.
how this has been phrased, does anyone have any
And I
questions?
have no method of
concerns,
fattening
Max,
my
anybody
pockets.
else?
They're trying to climb the social ladder.
No, I think you legally
Max
sit real
doesn't
good.
care about their shitty social ladder.
Yeah, I think this is what was voted on, and
They're trying to vote safely
if
to
any
avoid
major
any
changes or additions or
reprimand in the
subtractions
future
be
from their
added in the future,
peers.
that could be done when those votes arise.
They're too
Max,
scared.
thoughts on the blue and green paragraphs?
I read it as you're writing. It looks great.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm capturing your intent. I don't want to edit your thoughts.
No,
you
did it great.
Okay, I will then save this copy for posterity, so we have a record of how we debated it. I'm going to copy this text, get rid of the blue text, change the green text to white, remove the after, and then remove everything after the sunset clause. And that will be what I put in the high command report for Slacks. Everybody good on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and copy the stuff after the sunset clause into my personal notes report. If you guys want to continue throwing on stuff into there. While this is the purview of the mayor's office, I am of course willing to listen to great unbiased ideas.
Yeah. With that being said, to derail, I mean, Cantor, are you did you make are you calling for a vote on Pippa, or do you want to cook on it?
If anyone has more questions about it, or if free to let me know. Or anything.
What is the final number you decided on with the emergency contact? Are you still sitting at 5?
Yeah. Hey, here's my thing. I'm not a pussy. I don't go into the ICU. I'm strong. So I don't really know what people want. I don't know what people would be happy with.
I mean, could you leave it vague that up to an amount determined by the board? I don't know what I'm saying. Like
no, I can set a number. I think maybe 5 is reasonable. But then, if you think 5 is reasonable, okay.
I can't imagine somebody really needing more.
I mean,
think.
Their laundry list, their primary point of contact can reach out to the rest of them.
And worst comes to worst, you call a vote next week to just change the number if you really need to.
Honestly,
right?
yeah, that's true. We can absolutely change that if it's too overbearing.
All right.
I think it's a good start. All right.
So are you calling for a vote then?
Yeah, I know the medical specifics y'all probably don't know too much, so but yeah, if anyone has questions.
I have one more question.
okay.
Is it possible for them to indicate the relationship of the emergency contact? That way, if it was like a boyfriend or a girlfriend and it was all outdated information, you're not calling up an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or something. You know what I mean?
That
maybe
has happened before,
right?
Yes.
So maybe let's
People can
indicate
come in and update
relationship.
it at any time. Yes, we could.
Dude,
we could definitely.
Siobhan was
so
the
it's
pick,
usually,
guys.
It's usually essentially
Siobhan
we
was
just
the
put what
pick, dude.
information they give us.
Holy
If they
fuck,
want to say,
man.
like, say for example, if I put Frazier, who's my husband, not legally under the state currently, but will be soon when we can afford it. If I were to put that, I would probably put in brackets that he's my husband. Some people just don't give us that information, but we would be happy to take it if they do. And use that accordingly.
Yeah, like Murphy got shot on the head and we were already divorced and they called me because his emergency contact list was outdated.
Yeah. People do not update theirs a lot. At least if this passes, people might be, generally aware that they should. Yeah. Okay. Well, if no one has any more questions, yeah, we can go for a vote.
Aye.
For me, I was.
Aye.
Any nays?
Yeah, it's probably easier on this one.
Yeah.
It passes unanimously. Good work.
Thank you all.
Hooray.
Okay. I'm going to tag that as approved. I will enact it accordingly.
Okay.
I have
Perfect.
delivered the updated version to the PD High Command documents. Slacks is in receipt and is reviewing.
Okay.
Crane, do you have anything in particular you'd like to propose today?
Okay, I have some updates, not necessarily proposals. I figured we could spitball some things. So to start off, I have talked to the operators of the Grime trucks. The result is that the way that the system is set up now, the Pounder and the Packer trucks, which are the like level 2 and 3 trucks, the larger commercial vehicles, they currently are set up to allow PD to inspect the cargo and inspect the contract assigned that the person is working on. Those contracts only display the current contract, right? So if the current contract is, let's say, 600 kilos and the truck has a capacity of 1,000, if they're at 700, then they're exceeding the current contract but not the capacity of the truck. So the idea was potentially they could do more than one contract. However, after speaking to different folks, both in PD with their results and folks that run Grime, I have found out that most all of the contracts on those larger vehicles are at or very near the limit for the truck itself. This is, as I understand it, working as intended. So, although the Grime drivers may be unhappy with this, the apparent intent of the people who operate those vehicles and allow the drivers to utilize them is that they should only be doing one contract at a time. If they do more than one contract at a time and overload the truck, which is in and of itself inevitable by doing more than one contract, they will be in violation. So I am bringing that forward to note to everyone that that should color how we determine what punishment is appropriate for people who go over that weight system, understanding that it literally means that they will need to complete round trips to and from the city to, say, Sandy or Grapeseed or Polito to avoid not being in compliance. So that is one, food for thought. Second item was gun licenses. I have intended to roll them out today. However, I am still working with the folks who regulate the ammunition state-run businesses to ensure that a purchase of a gun can only be made once per week. In addition, there are some further revisions being made to which firearms will be available at ammunition, and I am awaiting confirmation of those developments. So I actually, as I understand it, the purchase of guns from ammunition is currently not permitted.
My guns.
So I will be working with them to understand when those items have been resolved and when gun licenses will roll out. So there have been some concerns raised to me, several items, one of which was, I guess, sort of my own realization that although the guns themselves are stamped with, let's say, issuer IDs, the magazines and the ammo are clearly not. And as such, someone with a gun license could very clearly disseminate magazines and ammo to people who hold illicit guns, assuming they are of the same make and model. So, for example, if you steal a PD Glock or you have one of these tampered Glocks that has no serial, and then a civilian has the capacity to then go to ammunition and buy the equivalent ammo and magazine, there is effectively a conduit by which unlimited magazines and ammunition would be proliferated with no real way of tracking or consequence. So as a result, we are looking at solidifying the type of firearm that can be purchased from ammunition such that we are not coinciding with the same guns that PD use, which will also be helpful on scenes for them to clarify, civilian versus PD firearms.
I was going to literally ask that. Yeah, perfect. Good.
So that's all being worked on. Gun licenses will be slightly delayed.
Good
And
idea.
by that,
Honestly,
I
it's a good idea to delay
delayed by a matter of days, not weeks. So there may be something in the middle of the week where the DOJ starts rolling out gun licenses. I'm just making you all aware that that is what's going on.
In the spirit of spitballing, this is in regards to the commercial trucks. I believe in the past we called them commerce checkpoints, but I do believe that the PD should be empowered to set up way
Does she not still have her weapons
stations,
license?
let's say in designated areas, and obviously that's all up to debate, but like highways, the entrances say blah 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 blah. But I in the past, the legal argument was, well, you have to have a reason to stop someone to detain them.
My presentation to the council is that I believe the very act of driving a commercial vehicle on our roadways, public as they are, funded by the state as they are, should allow spot checks of those vehicles. A PD officer should be able to observe an 18-wheeler rolling down the road, pull them over. Hey, how you doing? Just making sure you're licensed, to be operating this vehicle, which the person can provide the contract information by inspecting, the truck, as well as the cargo, and that will allow for a spot check, which avoids the need for independent RS.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The only thing I would say for consideration is, do we want that just happening anywhere in the city willy-nilly, or only in certain circumstances? But I'm fine with
Juan's so particular, man.
They could just pull them over.
In a perfect world,
anytime,
I would like it to be highway interdiction, because I think that's where the most concern is. However, I don't know if I want to restrict the PD in when they can do the spot checks, because to be honest with you, I can already guess that Matt Rhodes would like to set up a personal spot checking station at the entrance to the Russian docks.
Fair.
I apologize if I missed that in this discussion. Is there a specific penal charge for their trucks being overweight?
And that's
It is
why I was
not.
gonna.
Well, this is
ask.
what we're discussing right now.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I'm giving you the context that you are overweight if you do more than one grime load. How does that color y'all's interpretation of how stiff the penalty should be?
Why not increase their weight limit?
I have discussed that with the manufacturers, and I was informed that that is working as intended.
Nakota, what do you feel the punishment should be for trucking overweight like that?
I mean, off the top of my head, a charge would be like misuse of a commercial vehicle, obviously. I think the articulation for having too much weight in your vehicle is that it's basically like a battering ram. I mean, they already are. The speed limits was hopefully try to curb people driving.
I'm not asking him to be
I'll
petty.
be honest, we still give out plenty of speeding tickets. But I do. I don't know if anyone here has had any similar experience of getting smashed at high speeds by
I have
one of those 18. Okay,
have.
so there you go. Okay, fair enough. So overweight 18-wheeler, overweight. Even some of the bigger vans. I mean, it is a vehicle can be considered a deadly weapon if you're packing it to the brim overweight. That is pretty negligent, if I'm going to be honest.
For context, okay, these I've spoken to quite a few people on the street who work for the grime delivery. They make a lot of fucking money. They make a lot of money. So I think a somewhat large but not like unreasonable fine for driving dangerously like that is not entirely unwarranted.
I would agree. The thing that I would request, this is mainly for the lawyer side of
They
things.
nerfed
Is I
it?
don't
When?
think it should be a felony. I don't think driving an overweight truck should preclude you from a business
Absolutely.
or
Absolutely.
getting a license.
Oh no. Sorry, yeah, no, I wasn't saying that should be a felony. I'm just I'm thinking out loud in that part.
I don't think it should be an arrestable offense.
Oh, sure.
No,
Just a fine.
I think it should be a
It's a moving
citation without.
infraction.
Now, I got a real crackpot question.
Oh,
here
I did
towards-
have another thing. Fuck. Sorry. I just. Yeah, I got another thing for legislation. Keep going, Malton. I just remember.
A real crackpot spitball I want to throw out here is
he said the F
if
word,
you're
dude.
overweight driving, is that overweight proceeds of a crime that are going to be seized?
No.
No, okay.
No, I think we do. Here's my suggestion. How about this? How about we make it roughly equivalent to first-degree speeding, because we all agree that it's dangerous and it needs to be curbed. We set that at what, $1,000?
I think it is 1,000.
So we make it $1,000 fine for driving an overweight grime vehicle, and what we do is we make it 5 points on your license.
Ooh.
So that way, if you do it 4 times, your license gets suspended.
Are we
But
still?
there's no
living- oops, sorry.
arresting. There's no criminal side of it. It's just, we're reflecting how important commercial vehicles are and how much care you should use when operating them.
What about like 4 points?
4 points? I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just spitballing.
Yeah, 4 points. My wife and I live in on Route 68. So we see a lot of these trucks driving by and stuff. Most of them are well-meaning people. I've spoken to a lot of them. They're going to need time to adjust, and it would be unfortunate for them to lose their driver's license that quickly, right? And,
Wait, where do you live off 68?
Behind the convenience store.
Do you know what the address is?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. It is.
It's a trailer, guys.
Harmony.
No, I know, but which one?
It's like Harmony Route 68, 58 or some shit, something like that.
Do you live in the murder trailer?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait,
what? There was a trailer out there.
Right by the used car lot across from Harmony Repairs.
No.
There's a couple of them. So there was that one, and there was another murder trailer where there was like people had mocked up like a cell inside, and people were like held in there like human trafficked and shit.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm sure they cleaned it fine.
Yeah, I don't believe in ghosts. That's all I'm gonna say.
Bleach salt.
That's why the water.
I had it renovated. It's nice. Okay, it's not.
it
It's
should
not
be fine.
murdery.
I'm sure it's okay. So to my actual legislative point, here is something I want to propose to the council. I didn't write it up because it only came to me the other day, and I was getting feedback from Miss there she is, Miss Mushkin Domino here to my back right. I would like to propose the following. Currently, driver's licenses are not actually removed. They are only suspended. The reason being is that we used to have driving school, which Tessa Lamb ran. And so when someone lost their license, they would go to driving school, get a certificate that said, I passed driving school. And then they would get their license reinstated by going to a judge or a clerk and providing the certificate. I propose the following. When people reach 20 points now, the PD or whoever causes them to go over 20 points should revoke their license. And in order to reinstate their license, even if the points have fallen off, I believe they should go to a clerk, and the clerks should operate a quasi DMV. I think this will allow more engagement for the clerks. This will allow more meaning to having your license revoked. And it will provide more of, should I say, like interactions at City Hall with people who might not otherwise come by.
Sorry, just so I understand, the license would be revoked within the MDT, but the clerks could obviously reissue that because they're
correct. And there would be a minor fee for reinstatement, something light, $500, something like that. But the purpose would be to allow the clerks to have roles and responsibility that would expand their purview.
I like that.
Yeah, that's fun.
I just have a couple of questions. So is it pretty much guaranteed now we're not doing the commercial licenses? They're just going to go onto the existing
The
drivers?
way that it should work is I think we just create
the first time I've seen Max as a character, is he purposely disagreeable as a character trait?
The way I understand it, in order to even operate,
I try to play
crime
Max
truck,
as
you have to
abrasive
purchase
and
the
rude
right to operate
people
the
who
truck
he
from
thinks,
the contractor.
Okay.
So you pay, I think it's like 25
abuse
grand
their
or
authority
something to buy the
or
truck.
are not entirely honest.
So I think
I've always played Max pretty
and
honest,
we'll simply
and
have the
straightforward.
points.
He
reflect
rarely
the severity
lies
of the
on a
action,
huge
aka
scale.
The 4 points Max described.
Okay. The other things I was just going to say is, what if a vehicle's like caught off-roading, not even on the road? Say
we made a character
they're
sheet.
Driving, through the Los Santos Freeway, like dirt path that wraps around behind the.
Moon Frank, thanks for subbing.
So you want to create like negligent operation of a commercial vehicle?
Yeah,
with
like
a
if they-
stiffer penalty than negligent driving.
Right. If they start figuring out that if they're overweight on the road, they can be pulled over. And
Lenny's also abrasive.
Cited,
I made
and then
Lenny
they try to
abrasive
start
because
obfuscating
I've
by
always
going
found
off-road to avoid potential being seen.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. And then my last thing, and I will be done. I apologize.
Because
if we catch someone,
it's so hard to.
If it is identified that somebody's vehicle,
So hard to
is
talk while someone's
overweight,
talking. I
that
can't. I
vehicle
have
is
such a hard time
then,
doing it. I made Lenny abrasive because I think it's
subject to
weird.
being searched and
like,
having
I don't mean
the
weird as like a bad
outstanding
thing. It's just
weight
like weird for me
removed,
personally
or-
when cops are like, "Hey, Billy John,
the fine and
who
the
has
points
shot
are
at
the
cops before, you're cool.
Got
You
it.
know, we're
The
just
fine.
we're doing a little joke into the street.
I don't want to.
I want Lenny to have
rank and
enemies.
file cops seizing fucking boxes
You know,
of goods. out of trucks.
so I accomplished that by being really
don't necessarily
rude
have
to
an issue
them.
with that. I just wanted
Okay, boom.
to say it out loud. for
Cornwood,
clarity.
you raised your hand.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's that charge going to be called for? Is it overweight driving?
It would be probably unsafe operation of a commercial vehicle, and
Okay.
then the other one would be negligent operation of a commercial vehicle.
Okay.
Because the unsafe would mean you knew it because it's in legislation that you can only go to a certain weight and based on your contract.
Oh, I can.
And
like
then
a
the
volume
negligent would be
dial on my desk.
maybe it's not spelled out somewhere, but
or on
you
my
know,
keyboard.
very I'll know it when I see it for the cops.
Yeah, I've
Which also
deliberately
allows the
been
cops to
really
argue that in
fucking.
court. So if somebody wants to
Max
try to
is
come in and
very,
say they're a good old boy who can
he
drive
gets
an
along
18 wheeler
really
off
well
road,
with like
then
the
they can come and try to
average
argue that.
civilian.
Yeah, I was
or
asking because
criminal.
I didn't want to
Normally.
hear the same damn joke every time I pulled someone over. So
People
Hey,
like
guys,
this,
not overweight driving.
Understood.
they are not his. Oh, it only lowers it for me. Oh,
Is this Crane? Is this not dissimilar
really?
from how we used to do suspended driver's license and reissuing them with like a past
Correct.
driver's test? Okay,
Oh,
that's what I wanted to know.
It's just taking
DMV.
I love that. No, I love that.
taking Patrick Assault's job and giving it to the
Correct.
clerks.
So it's not
Right,
after
no,
how many
and
months?
that's
No, I
great.
knew.
I
I
think
knew
the
it was there. I
clerks-
just never
think
used it. I didn't think it would
we
actually
trust
work.
the clerks to give out licenses, don't we? So I feel
Correct.
like that should absolutely be within their purview. I love this idea.
Okay. So there effectively will be three things that I will be working on implementing if there are no nays. That is number one, the quote unquote unsafe operation of a commercial vehicle, which will be described as the weight limit infraction. Again, this is not a criminal punishment. This is an infraction. It'll be 4 points on their license, meaning they can do it 5 times and have their license revoked. And it'll be $1,000 fine, which is similar to the speeding first degree. The second one charge will be negligent operation of a commercial vehicle. This will be simply negligent driving, which I'll literally just copy paste the definition of, but insert the words commercial vehicle. Same thing will be a $1,000 fine, and we'll call it, I think, probably 2 points for that because it's a little different than the overweight. And then I will institute the legislation surrounding the creation of the DMV powers being assigned to the clerks, which states that police officers are now enabled to revoke a license when the person reaches 20 points. And the reinstatement of that license must occur through a clerk at City Hall for a fee of $500. Anybody need any of that?
Nope.
No, sounds good.
Okay, I will implement accordingly. That was my stuff. Thank you. And then gun licenses and all that, I will keep you guys updated, but again, TBD based on communications with ammunition.
Look, look, I'm gonna be straight up after that the Mr. K case yesterday. I think it's probably good that we keep guns off the street for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that was
Dakota.
Yeah.
Can I just get 60 seconds?
Yeah, please.
Well, no. I mean to be silent and really think about something. So I just want to make sure no one needs to. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna ask Etta if she has anything to propose. So
okay, perfect.
Lady Treasurer, do you have anything to propose to the council meeting today?
Sorry, say it. So one more second. Say, Alex. Yes, you and I will go over the gun. Yep.
He didn't have a gun on him, guys. Listen.
Okay, I'm gonna work on those. So give me a second.
This is only the first half of the stream. Only the first half of the stream. Etta?
I said
Oh, she already.
Nothing currently. I'm curious.
That's not true. She does. She has brought stuff to me, but I sort of, as I reflected on earlier, we're working it into the PD oversight initiative. So
I'm at the meeting is the first half, guys.
Ed has collected requests from a number of PD sources, EMS, regarding the breakdown and overall wear and tear on vehicles. And I don't mean just like normal wear and tear. I mean the overall health of the vehicle over time. I'm not much of a gearhead, but I guess there's some degradation that occurs to where the vehicle can become almost like permanently less efficient or something. I don't know.
The engine has to be replaced, and it has to be replaced through damage and use.
Sure. So she was effectively advocating for the fact that it is hard to distinguish between normal wear and tear and operation of an engine from the PD and negligent operation, and the incentive should be that if the PD is working with us in good faith to improve themselves, we should add the proverbial carrot of maybe helping them with things like that, the overall degradation, and then incentive bonuses such as the Karakara and Scout vehicles and things like that.
Are these
so? I assume
these things?
I assume that'll be coming in the future.
Are these things that the Nakota came to you with, Etta, at some point?
We have discussed them together. Yes.
Do you? Are these requests written down anywhere for us to read right now?
She has
I
them
have
in the
my
notes.
notes
Yeah.
for treasurer.
Okay.
That has been there. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take a little peek. I would love to.
And to be fair, I want to say something. I have been the person naysaying her from bringing these things specifically because
we can't do it.
I was informed
can't
prior that we couldn't. Correct.
Yeah. We
But
just
now
can't
that
do it.
we have the authorization, as you're aware, Max, from earlier conversation, I think this will allow for some progress.
So that it's like a new system. Okay. I am not aware of the particulars of the system. That said, it's essentially going to allow us to autonomously maintain the flow of commerce and budgeteering for every aspect of government. And receiving that power instead of just having flat paycheck wages like issued by the state, it will allow us to incentivize certain activities or things, or like to do whatever we need to do to actually 100% wholesale get funding for government jobs. So until this system is fully in place, it's probably not going to be for a couple of weeks. We can't actually have a serious discussion on providing funding for the police department, or for example, like something can actually climb a mountain for the medical group. That said, we're working on it, and right now we can't. Unfortunately, I would love for the EMS to have a fucking helicopter, for example. But you guys know we can't pull the money out. So yeah, in like 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on how long it takes, there's going to be a framework that the mayor's office can make use of, or it might just be the whole. I think it's just the mayor's office. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Justice.
I believe the trigger lies with the mayor's office, but my opinion is that there should be obviously like discussions around.
Of course. Yeah. So I mean, always for the police department, the LSPD is in dire straits, and certainly money would be good for them to receive. Have you guys, Dakota, have you guys floated the idea of doing like I know that Cantor suggested like a car wash or something for EMS to raise money for potentially purchasing a helicopter? Are you guys working internally on any way of like raising money to purchase the tools that you need to be able to, I don't know, country patrol or whatever you guys are missing right now?
I mean, the vehicles that we have are being test driven. As far as purchasing them, that'll be like, I think a lot of officers' main goals is to purchase them themselves personally.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the biggest issues are, and I've spoken to the treasurer about this, is like internal issues, not necessarily like purchasing said vehicles.
Okay, so everyone's more concerned with just getting their own car.
People are concerned getting their own car, but in the immediate, while that is not like feasible for some people based on money, some of our our shared vehicles are like the engines are basically dying in them.
Ooh.
Already? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Man, cars are rough around here.
Yeah, when you crash, man, it fucks that engine up.
God damn. Okay.
Or you pit.
Yeah, or you pit.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. What's up, Ed?
And repair kits as well. So.
Oh really?
So actually, cops, when they repair using a repair kit, it does not damage the engine.
If, there's no mechanics or they have no parts to be able to repair the cars, then they're forced to use the toolkits.
How do you know? I was told on Lenny. I'm saying that out of character.
They already need to be replaced less than a month after they were previously.
Didn't say that in character. My mic was not
What's
lit
wrong with
up.
the air in this city, man? Cars last for years everywhere else. What are we doing?
Humane
Like,
Labs.
people got to stop going to Sandy and all that. It's the sandstorms or something. Yeah, Humane Labs.
It's freaking
maybe.
Humane Labs, man. They're fucking
Yeah,
poisoning
maybe.
the water.
God damn.
Crashing their cars.
Actual hot mic? I didn't hot mic. Okay. So nothing to propose from the Lady Treasurer. Michael Simone, the big man.
I don't have anything this time around. I think the only thing is the VDM Act.
Oh, is that finalized?
Should
Oh
be.
yeah, we were talking
Sick.
about it. Let's see.
Cool.
Yeah, I simplified it, so it should be basically without all the fluff. And again, if we want to go down the path, it can always be extended to not just be work vehicles and include every vehicle.
How crusty
on
is
the
that
street.
mic looking?
What was the,
It ain't
the
good.
medium one again? Sorry, just refresh my memory.
It's just the one that they have.
098.
Yeah, they just have to make sure it's. They're
Oh,
taking
yes,
care of the
okay,
vehicles
yep,
internals.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right. We approved this. We were just getting the final wording. Yeah, okay, I see. that
Yeah, we
there.
like changed how
Gotcha.
it worked a bit.
Gotcha.
Where are my freaking notes, dude?
I have one thing that all this vehicle discussion got me thinking about, but I can just wait if we're still talking about anything in particular.
Yeah, this seems to fit what we landed on, so no arguments here.
Chief of
Language
Staff?
real quick.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Chief of Staff, do you have anything to propose? Suggest?
Not at this time. Suggest?
Yeah, suggest.
Several citizens brought forward to me that they wanted an amendment to the Drip Act to ban Crocs because they're unhygienic and unsafe.
Ban them.
Yeah, we recommend
Yeah.
them around the hospital. Actually, they're quite good for things like that. 'cause they're
This
non-slip.
was for for the hospital for sure, but for it was for grime in Group 6 in particular
okay.
that they were
Yeah,
saying
you know
ban
what, I
Crocs.
might
It's
agree
not
with that.
right. It's not. It's just
Yeah,
not safe for
yeah.
carrying things. You could drop it on your feet. That's a loss. That could be a lawsuit. Not sure. Right. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. Yeah, they
I
wanted
will,
to ban Crocs for grime in Group 6.
My initial response is, we probably don't need to ban them, but I think it would be funny to encourage the cops to start finding people for them and establish that.
Right. Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Look, obviously,
Get the money.
I was against the Drip Act. I still am in some regard, but in the spirit of it, I will say maybe Crocs could be helping build the RS or PC for Fashion Court, and,
Right.
and not outright banned.
Okay. All right. That's absolutely fine. But maybe list them specifically then as an unsafe shoe attire, or whatever the word you want to use
It
for it is.
definitely so the way we did it, we left it slightly ambiguous so that these things could be argued in court.
Oh,
But
yeah, no,
is
that's
absolutely
fine.
one of those things that I think would be hilarious for cops
Maybe-
to push,
right.
and that to handle in court.
Even just as an example, Crocs.
Yeah.
I want to see somebody in fashion court for wearing Crocs.
I would love
so
to see
bad.
you in fashion court when you're back to doing lawyer stuff. That'd be hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, that'll be.
Yeah, I thought about
those
reporting
were
you
the days.
several times.
I know. That's why I ran
Okay,
away from
okay,
you.
well, I was gonna say her
That's why I
defending
ran.
someone,
Well,
but
look,
I ran
ma'am,
away.
when I'm the Chief Justice and I can tell you what color your underwear is, you might be drip violation.
Literally, I was not.
Checking my wife out, dog.
Incorrect. Your wife presented her underwear in a manner that anyone with eyeballs could see.
Oh my god.
Look, okay, he's an older guy. I get it. Maybe
It's an observation.
kneeling skirts, Pep.
Hell,
Are
even
you fingertip
thigh.
testing me? What is this, Catholic
yeah,
school?
we're back at Catholic school right now.
This
Are
is
we
not,
back in
no,
Catholic
no,
school?
no. That didn't. What you were wearing did not qualify as a skirt.
No, Crane, I was literally at the VU right then. I was not planning on being
I know,
running
which
by
is why I
City Hall.
didn't say shit about it.
Thank you.